What's going on, everybody? John out here with you. It is Wednesday, May 11, 2022. How's everybody doing out there today? I'm going to give you the starting lineups for both. I'm going to be joining Cooper Hopkins on the colorcast side. He's going to call the play-by-play. I'm going to have the color for today's game. But I'll still be back with you tomorrow, per usual, for the Oilers and Kings, like we talked about. So let me get both of these set up here, and we'll give you the starting lineup. So for the visiting stars, it's going to be a little bit different here for Rick Bowness, and it might change a little bit. But this is just the pregame stuff. So it was Rope Hintz, Michael Raffle, Joe Pavelski with Ryan Suter, Miro Heiskanen on the first line defense. And then Jamie Benn, Jason Robertson, Tyler Seguin, Joel Hamley, and John Klingberg. Vlad Nemestikov with Jacob Peterson and Luke Glendening. Roddick Fox with Joel Caravana and Miron Studenich with Esa Lindell and Yanni Hakanpää on the back end third line. Jake Ottinger will be tending goal, where he's been outstanding all series. For the Calgary Flames, it sounds like this: Elias Lindholm, Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, with Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson in the first-line defense. It's Mikael Backlund with Andrew Mangiapane, Tyler Toffoli, Oliver Shillington, and Christopher Tanev, Kelly Armstrong, Dylan Dubé, Blake Coleman, with Nikita Zadorov and Eric Branson on third-line defense. And the fourth line is Trevor Lewis, Milan Lucic, and Brett Ritchie. So Jacob Markstrom, again, we're going to talk about this a little bit when we get the actual official call going live. I'm going to stick with you here until we actually get the transfer over. So I'll be giving you some of the play-by-play until we actually get everything started. But we're in the national anthem right now for both the United States and the Canadian national anthem here. So I can say it like this: the series is tied at 2-2, just like all these other ones, with the exception of the Rangers and the Penguins. Rangers just forced a Game 6, so they're going to go back to PPG Paints and then try to get something going back at Madison Square Garden. But for this series, it has been the tale of two goaltenders in the side of it, because Jacob Markstrom has been really good, but he was challenged by Daryl Sutter to just make a couple more of those big saves, be a little bit better in the circumstance. And again, the Flames, they've honestly had a little bit of trouble finding their game, especially in Game 4, where things finally changed in Calgary's favor. Games 1, 2, and 3, to be fair, were probably played more in Dallas's doorstep and the way that they like to play the game. But Game 4 was a little bit different. Again, 5 power plays. Calgary was 1 for 5. Dallas was 1 for 6. It was a game that was similar in the sense of 13 more penalties were called, but there was actually a penalty shot conversion as Johnny Gaudreau. And as I've said, if you followed any of the stuff in the series opener capsules, I've said that John Klingberg was going to make a big mistake and cost his team a game. And partly one of those was a penalty shot there for Johnny Gaudreau, and it turned things around. Again, Calgary ended up winning the game big, in the sense of big for what you want to call it. But within the first 3 games, there wasn't really much to see from the Calgary Flames. That kind of changed a little bit in Game 4. Yes, again, a lot of penalties, but it was 54 shots to 35 in favor of the Flames, a playoff record for the Flames in a non-OT game. There was great puck movement, shots from the point predominantly, but it looked as though the Flames were comfortable in the first time in this series. So as they go back into the Settle Dome now, it remains to be seen whether or not all that stuff is going to stay. So again, Jacob Markstrom got the win, 34 saves. Jake Ottinger made 50 saves in the loss. So they're showing it right now. Jacob Markstrom 2-2, a 127 goals against, a 952 save percentage, and a shutout. Game 1, he had 16 saves in that shutout. And on the other side is going to be Jake Ottinger, 2-2 one more time, a 153 goals against, a 960 save percentage, and a shutout for Ottinger as well. The 23-year-old had a career-high 50 saves in Game 4, as we talked about. So let's get set here for the draw. This is going to be Backlund and Raffle. And now Dallas wins the draw as they get that one down. Jacob Markstrom immediately out of his goal crease as he tries to play that one to Mangiapane. Dallas was all over it, though, as they've held Calgary in their defensive zone very quickly. Luke Glendening is part of the third line out there. Got a shot right out in front, stopped by Markstrom, picked up by Backlund now. He's working off that Andrew Mangiapane toward the left face-off dot. He got dumped pretty quickly there. Backlund's still on this thing right now as he's holding toward the right face-off dot. Gets it back there on the defensive side of things. Still spun around the boards, and now Dallas finally picks this one up. So now this goes to Ryan Suter and Miro Heiskanen will also team up to get this down the ice. Christopher Tanev now lands on it for the Calgary Flames. Tanev trying to hold. He gets this one to Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau skated a little too quickly into the zone. They got to turn around here. Calgary gets this one down. Johnny Hockey all the way back in there trying to pick this up, trying to get around Suter and Heiskanen right now. Still trying to get that stick work stuck in toward the right faceoff dot. Elias Lindholm finds this one quickly. Tries to play it out right in front of Johnny Gaudreau. Now Dallas is able to get on this thing. Big time hit in the middle of the Flames logo as two Flames and a Star collide. And Johnny Gaudreau, nice outlet pass. Breakaway here for Tkachuk. Stopped by Ottinger. So right off of the big hit there, Johnny Gaudreau found Matthew Tkachuk all the way down there for a break. And Jake Ottinger already had to answer the bell with a big time save. This is back now here for Rasmus Andersson. He's still holding him behind the cage with Jacob Markstrom. And leave this one for Kelly Arncroft, the pickup at the deadline from the Nashville Predators. Intercepted there by Dallas as they're keeping some active sticks there with Raffle and Ben. Gaudreau and Yarncroft. Yarncroft on the forecheck right now trying to get around John Klingberg. Remember, John Klingberg was one of those ones that had that active stick, but he did too much as Johnny Gaudreau got a penalty shot and he converted. Noah Hannafin and Anderson will double team Pavelski there as they get the puck free. Dylan Dubé lost it, got crunched there by Dallas, and they're going to start this one more time with 17:30 left to go here in the first period. So I'm going to double check here on this color cast side of things to make sure we got everything else all set once we get to it. And I'm going to join Cooper Hawkins once we get a little bit of a stoppage there. 17:20 left to go in the first period.
Zone is picked up there by Trevor
Let's
Lewis,
join him
who's
live.
played many a game for his head coach Daryl Sutter. Bench boss for the Calgary Flames. It's kept in. No, excuse me, going to be blown dead offside. Michael Backlund in too early as that puck did cross the blue line back into the neutral zone. And I think we have none other than John Ryan Ott. John, good to see you, buddy. This has been just a jam-packed first period so far, and we're only 3 minutes in. This is wild stuff. Let me invite you as the co-caster here. That invitation should be coming momentarily. Lineups tonight for the Flames: Tyler Toffoli, Trevor Lewis, Milan Lucic, Tanev, Shillington, and Markstrom. And on the other side, Kiviranta, Studenic, Faksa, Klingberg, Hanley, and of course in net for the Stars, who's been sparkling all series long, Jake Ottinger. And we welcome the legend, John Ott. Welcome to the broadcast, my friend. And this has been end-to-end from the jump.
Yeah, we've noticed this from Game 4, as we've talked about in the Now and Here Now. This has been great. Series tied 2-2.
You got it. So, of course, a pivotal game here. And as I just heard on the Flames broadcast, every game in the Stanley Cup Finals is pivotal. And I believe that shot right there by the Stars may have gone off either the mask or potentially the crossbar of Markstrom's net. So 3 minutes and 15 seconds elapsed here. No score yet. And the puck is handled right there by Klingberg, and he'll send it through the neutral zone and down into the trapezoid where it's played by Markstrom to the left-handed shot of Nikita Zadorov. Now this one is pitched back into the Dallas zone, icing waved off right away. And the Flames will skate back. And this one is touched by Michael Stone. Michael Stone, the seventh defenseman for the Flames. So Daryl Sutter doing something a little untraditional. John, tell me your thoughts on this. This change was made before Game 4, and we do see a replay of that save there, which went off the mask of Markstrom. So the best opportunity of the night has gone to Dallas so far in less than 4 minutes. But yeah, John, give us your thoughts on the Daryl Sutter's decision to go with 11 forwards, dropping Brett Ritchie in favor of Michael Stone, a seventh defenseman.
So what we talked about from Game 4 specifically, now we get to come up here for Game 5, was trying to jumpstart some offense here for the Calgary Flames that we had not seen for the most part in the first 3 games. It's been more in the favor of Dallas. It's worked so far for Daryl Sutter, and there's been a lot of instances that you can talk about in Game 4 with the amount of power plays and chances. It was a team-high non-playoff record, 54 shots for Calgary. Big-time decision there, and it really worked out in Game 4.
It certainly did, and actually, maybe Michael Stone heard us talking about it, because right as we mentioned his name, he let go a 90-mile-per-hour slap shot that was saved by Ottinger, and the face-off just to his left was won a moment ago by Dallas. So Dallas, from left to right on your radio dials, Calgary and their home Reds going right to left. This one's sent through the neutral zone and then slung forward where Johnny Gaudreau taps it back for Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov skates down to the half wall where he's knocked down, and Dallas will take over possession. It's grabbed there by Jason Robertson, and fighting back into the offensive zone is Johnny Gaudreau with the help of Elias Lindholm. Now Lindholm taps it back to Gaudreau. Gaudreau on his forehand sends it to the slot, but this one's deflected away and to the bench area where Zadorov will chase it down. So 15:30 to go here in our opening period, 2 shots apiece. And a loose puck right there. Markstrom has to stick that one away to the far corner. And Michael Backlund goes down and knocks the net from its moorings. So, John, maybe we can get your thoughts. You're the resident expert here on ColorCast and well beyond on what exactly is happening around the league as we see the Florida Panthers, who have looked to be on the brink multiple times against the Washington Capitals. They have fought back from a 3-0 deficit and now lead that game 4-3.
Well, there's a lot to be said in that one, and maybe there's a soft spot in my heart there for Alex Ovechkin. I will say that. So to see them give up 4 unanswered goals after TJ Oshie had a couple himself, that's pretty disheartening here. But this is one of those series where Andrew Burnett had said, look, I want my team to be able to show something in this series and prove that they can be the better team, and they've done that within the last couple here. So lots of goals, and we'll see if Washington can try to figure it out with 8:24 left.
Absolutely, and we'll see if we get some more goals in this game. The first 3 games of this series between the Stars and the Flames were low event, as the saying goes in the sport, but things changed a bit. A 4-2 final score and a victory for Calgary a couple nights ago in Dallas. So Michael Backlund with a puck near his own blue line. He'll shovel that one over to Noah Hannafin. Noah Hannafin sneaks over to the left side and rims it around the end boards. It's picked up in the far corner. Fighting there for the puck is Ryan Suter, and he'll get that one out and into the neutral zone where it's taken by Miro Heiskanen, and Heiskanen sends that one to the near corner. Tanev will pick it up for the Flames, and they take over. They're going to skate out now. A saucer pass is taken by Tanev at the red line. He'll chip in. Andrew Mangiapane on the forecheck for the Flames. He does have possession there. It's 3-on-1. Does a nice job there. The Flames have it in at the right point. Now it's over to Oliver Shillington, Swedish defenseman for the Flames. He barely keeps that puck in as it almost sneaks past the blue line. The Flames are down low in the near corner. Nice checking there by Hanley on Kelly Yarncroke, former Predator and Seattle Kraken. Dylan Dubé fighting on the near boards. He's got Nemesnikov on him along with Heiskanen. And that one will get all the way back to the blue line. The shot there flutters wide of Ottinger's net, and it bounces over the top of the net. Could have come off the glass or maybe the dasher. John, I'm not sure if you saw what happened there, but that one popped unaware. Ottinger just popped right over in front of his mask.
Yeah, popped right in front of his mask, right next to the goal pad. Very close there for Calgary to be able to convert the first goal of the contest with 13:54 left in the first. He got a penalty call, though. Let's see who this is on.
The camera seems to be trained on Nikita Zadorov. Could have a tripping call here. I didn't actually see the offense take place, but maybe we'll get a replay here. I do believe it's going to be 16 of the Flames. That's big Nikita Zadorov heading for 2 minutes for a trip.
Instead, right now, it's against Luke Glendening. So Zadorov will be going to the box at the 6:06 mark as we get a stoppage here.
No score so far tonight, and a couple shots apiece for Dallas and Calgary, and we'll take a quick break here. And John, I know this is an early opportunity, but I'm just curious, and not only as a broadcaster but as a fan, what are your thoughts on what we're seeing tonight in the NHL? Let's go back to the Eastern Conference. Maybe tell me what you're seeing in that tight game between the Rangers and the Penguins.
Okay, so in this one, there was all sorts of intrigue surrounding Igor Shesterkin. So he's been amazing in the regular season, no doubt about that. He should be winning the Vezina, and if he doesn't, there's going to be some serious problems. But there was back-to-back games where he gave up at least 3 or more. Was he going to have the quick hook tonight, or was Gerard Gallant going to ride the horse all the way to the end? They need to be able to win this one to be able to force a Game 6, and they did that with a big 5-3 win against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I didn't see the very, very end of it, but I also heard that there was going to be some status issues here with Sidney Crosby as far as his game availability for Game 6, so that could kind of change some things here for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens with their captain. I mean, what more can be said about Sidney Crosby and not only his play, but his leadership. John, do you agree? I saw a Hockey News article, and so credit to that outlet today. And I love the headline, which is just simply Sidney Crosby has turned back the clock. Do you think that's an apt title for the way he's been playing so far?
I would say an apt title for him, Malkin, and Letang. That whole superstar core has been able to do everything that they needed to, and that's why they're in the position they are in the series. But again, a lot of credit goes to Louis Domingue and anyone else that they can throw back in the goal just to be able to get that job done. It's been tough, and they've been able to fight to a Game 6 so far. try to close it out.
Absolutely, and we're back here in action with a deflected puck that came from the right point and just went wide of the post next to Jacob Markstrom. So Dallas is on the power play here. 15 seconds have elapsed. They'll come out with John Klingberg skating the puck all the way from blue line to blue line. And he'll backhand this one around for Tyler Seguin. Now it's taken over by the Flames, the second power play killing unit on right now with Michael Backlund, who methodically skates that one towards center and will knock it in where Ottinger takes the clear. And now Klingberg sends a stretch pass all the way down behind Markstrom to the trapezoid. Rasmus Andersson slaps that one around the boards and back down to the opposite end. So 13:05 to go here in Calgary, and it's worth noting, John, of course, I know you're aware of this. We've talked about this a couple of times. The team scoring the first goal in every game in this series has gone on to win. So obviously, a very important first goal is waiting for us at some point in this contest, and we'll see if it happens here on the power play for Dallas as they have 50 seconds remaining, but lose possession, and Dylan Dubé knocks this one down the dasher and back to Ottinger. 40 seconds left here on the Dallas man advantage as the puck is skated forward by Miro Heiskanen, and it's going to be chipped in there by Ryan Suter. And immediately taken over by the Flames and off of a leg, but all the way down the ice on the clear. The Flames are successful with a forecheck here by Andrew Mangiapane. The second time I've mentioned his name. He's been moving his feet well in the first 8 minutes or so of this hockey game. 15 seconds remaining for Dallas on the power play. Heiskanen there sends over to Robertson. Robertson at the half boards can't keep possession, and no shots so far. Looks like there are going to be no shots at all as we have 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and the power play has concluded for Dallas. So a nice penalty kill by Calgary, and Markstrom plays that one right out in front of his net. He flutters it all the way down the ice. This isn't something you see all the time. It's not the rarest play in hockey, but we have a goalie icing at 11:43 of the first.
The only other goalie that I've seen play the puck like that so often is Mike Smith in Edmonton, and sometimes that gets you in trouble.
It's true, as he would admit and did admit after a gaffe in Game 1. But boy, oh boy, the Oilers stormed back last night against the Kings, but Adrian Kempe took it on his own back and scored a quick goal in overtime. So the Kings now in the driver's seat, and would be, if they're able to close out that series against the Oilers, they would be the opponent for the winner of the series that we are covering tonight between Dallas and Calgary. So 11:20 to go here in the first. Dallas with some ozone time now, and it's taken by Yanni Hakanpää down low. He leaves his defense position, tries the backhand wraparound on a nice stop, great positioning by Markstrom, and the Flames are able to chip that one out. So that's probably the best scoring chance thus far, if you don't count Michael Stone's shot for the Flames that came earlier. Every shot he takes being in the mid-90s or so, when he gets a slap shot off, it's dangerous every single time. Nearing the 10-minute mark here in the first period, there's a pass along the ice from Jacob Peterson, and that one is rimmed around the boards and to the blue line in the Calgary end. And now Michael Backlund chases down the puck, does a good job there to race in and maintain possession and flicks it back to Johnny Gaudreau. So not sure if the Flames are halfway through a change here as a pass goes to the slot, no shot. Johnny Gaudreau with possession once again. Not sure if we're seeing some line mixing early on as Michael Backlund and Johnny Gaudreau are out at the same time here. John, maybe you can keep an eye out and look at our personnel here for Calgary.
There seems to be a little bit of line mixing, but that was some wizardry and puck handling there from Johnny Gaudreau as they tried to buzz around for about 40 seconds in the Dallas defensive zone and try to make something happen, but Dallas kept them on the outside and Ottinger froze the puck.
Great point. That is the most extended ozone time of the game thus far, as we have 10:07 remaining. 4 shots for Dallas and 3 for Calgary. Ottinger did a nice job to cover up there and give his team a chance to get a breather. And we get a nice replay here of the backhand wraparound attempt by Yanni Hakanpää. It's interesting. We're seeing Dallas pinch from the blue line here pretty early on. I've seen a couple of defensemen move in and make those plays, and their forwards have been supporting beautifully as Calgary wins a clean faceoff here and a blocker saved by Ottinger on a shot from distance. That's Calgary's 4th shot of the evening. And it's deflected in through the neutral zone. Chasing down is Dylan Dubé, but Ottinger will use that big paddle and knock it to the far corner. In a scrum there is Dubé. Correction, make that Blake Coleman. Blake Coleman picks up there. Puck is deflected for a moment, sort of dies, but it's kept in by Calgary and now bounces off a skate and is back to that flaming sea at center ice where Chris Tanev will glide backward and reset for the Flames. Tanev chips it in. Kelly Yarncrook chasing down, and it's picked up by Hakanpää and knocked back around to the half boards. Bounces into the slot area where Tyler Toffoli tried to wave at it but couldn't get a shot off. Now we have a 2-on-2 for Dallas. This one slapped down, bounces off the end boards. Noah Hannafin in. He'll back into the half boards on the far side. Toffoli dropped down to the ice but does a nice job to backhand that one toward a teammate, and now it's a foot race, and icing is waved off, and Mangiapane is bodied into the end boards hard right there. It's a clean hit. No penalty coming up. John, I want to get your thoughts on that play whenever we have a moment as the puck slides behind Markstrom and is held in. There's a face wash right there in the middle of play. I think that was Noah Hannafin, and I had a tough time seeing which Dallas star that was. But now Johnny Gaudreau dangling through the zone. He's in the left face-off circle and has to cycle back where he'll get back on the forehand and flick this one back around to the far corner. Oliver Shillington dumps it back behind the net where it's left for Gaudreau. 8:30 remaining here. 4 shots apiece, I believe, but no, it's going to be 3 for Calgary. There's a weak shot attempt that goes wide to the left of Ottinger, and Gaudreau couldn't find a teammate with a pass out from the trapezoid. So 2-on-2 again. Dallas comes back in, and Eric Branson, Flames defenseman, is able to get this one out of the zone back to neutral ice. Now we see Miro Heiskanen slow things down a bit in his own end in the high slot. He'll pass that one along the near boards, and it will slide past everyone where Blake Coleman will chase down in the Calgary zone. John, looks like about 4 minutes remaining there. Florida maintains their lead over Washington 4-3. We'll have plenty to say about that game, I'm sure, very shortly. 7:45 here in our first period in Calgary, and this should be an icing correction. No, Ottinger will step out of the crease and leave that one for Joel Hanley. Now, Klingberg with it. Flames close down on the defensive side now, and losing an edge is Dubé, and there's a shot from the high slot at the top of the circles, and it goes wide of Markstrom's net. Behind the net now is Jamie Benn. He tries to backhand that one, unable to do so, and it's fluttered out to center ice where Milan Lucic picks it up. He's on his forehand in the near corner, and we'll just gently tap this one around, and it will find Matthew Tkachuk. So, John, we're going to have plenty to talk about with these lines here. It looks like Daryl Sutter, a bit of gamesmanship. I'm seeing lines I've almost never seen before this entire season for Calgary.
Oh, my. Yeah, the line shuffling has been pretty evident here so far, like you said. It's some physical play and no penalties here as we get an icing with 6:37 in the first. Now Tkachuk comes together here a little bit.
That's true, and I think we're experiencing something that we did several nights ago. I think you might be about 3 or 4 seconds in front of me on tonight's video feed, but you're in front of me. You're ahead of me in all things hockey. You have the you have the expertise that I'm always looking for. So, what do you think is going to happen here if Washington can't come back and at least get this game to overtime to give themselves a chance to win? I'm going to get your thoughts on that in just a moment as we have a face-off to Markstrom's left, which is won by Calgary. And that's something. So I'm making a list, John, where Calgary, so many struggles in the first few games of this series in the face-off circle, and they have really improved their play over about 4 periods now at the face-off dot. As Dallas carries in, that one's off a skate and actually sneaks wide to the left of Markstrom's net. Noah Hannafin is bodied down from behind. Could have a cross-checking call coming up, and that most certainly is the call. Michael Raffl will take the first penalty of the night for the visiting Stars, and the Flames will have their first power play coming up in a moment. So, John, let's work backwards. Tell me about what you think is important about the Flames maintaining face-off success here tonight and beyond. And then let's move back to the Eastern Conference and tell me what you think is going to happen if Washington can't give themselves a chance to win that game.
So I'm looking, just as you were saying, on the ESPN side of things, Mangiapane got blasted into the boards, and you love the sacrifice of the body when it comes in the playoff game. Very, very important. So here's the thing for me. The face-off success, as you talk about, is always very important. You need to have that 200-foot game. And Daryl Sutter and his team, and even Dallas Stars, that's the way they like to play. It's always very important in terms of everything else. But Cooper, what I'm seeing so far, and this might just be the announcer's curse, and I know you're one of the Calgary Frame residents, but last time we did a game together, it was one of those ones that was very tight checking with a lot of penalties. There's not been a lot of opportunities and not been a lot of shots so far in this game either. So we'll see what happens if Game 4 is more of just an aberration, or if Calgary can end up doing the same things that made them so successful in the last game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if, as you pointed out near the beginning of the broadcast, will the Flames need 31 shots again to score one past Jake Ottinger? That's what it took 2 nights ago, 31 shots before they finally beat the 23-year-old netminder for Dallas.
So Florida has just scored again, unless I've lost count. It is now 5 unanswered goals for the Panthers, as Andrew Burnett has his squad up at the 336 mark, 5-3. So this is going to be an absolute killer here for Washington, but as you know, for a lot of these other series, Cooper, and maybe this is just me with the analyst hat on, every single one of these has been a little too close to call, with the exception of the Colorado series. So Washington's going to have to bounce back at Capital One, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And you are right. We can, of course, give, thanks to modern technology, give our listeners the rundown. 5 unanswered goals. Verhaeghe, Hornqvist, Reinhart. Verhaeghe, again, that's his 5th of the playoffs, and Claude Giroux. So 5-3, and it looks like the Capitals have missed a massive opportunity after being up 3-zip. But now we're back at the Scotiabank Saddledome with 10 seconds gone here in the first power play of the evening for Calgary, as Rasmus Andersson skates the blue line left to right. And this one is into the far corner, and now is given back to Johnny Gaudreau. So 4 forwards and 1 defenseman now. Johnny Gaudreau has to retreat as Dallas breaks out and will chip this one into Markstrom's glove. And Markstrom drops the puck, and you're right, John. He's doing his best Mike Smith impression tonight. Former Flame, he just flicked that one to his own paddle and kept play moving for Calgary. That puck slides toward the slot area, but no danger as Dallas gains control just long enough to slap that one back to Markstrom, where he has a more conventional play and leaves the puck behind for Noah Hannafin. So the Flames defenseman skates forward, and now the Flames in the far corner with Andrew Mangiapane, second unit on now, and a nice job, great active stick there by Hannafin. He flutters one to the net, and that one handcuffed Ottinger a bit, but he's able to squeeze the elbow against the ribs and keep that puck. It looks like he caught it or either trapped it in the crease of the elbow. Either way, the puck stays out. 56 seconds remaining here in Calgary's man advantage.
We just got a gorgeous shot on the ESPN side of all the Saddledome fans just outside and all the ones inside the arena right now. Lovely to see during the playoff time.
My gosh, and you know what was also lovely to see is that shot from Noah Hannafin was actually deflected halfway to the net. So no wonder Ottinger had to react quickly. And he did an excellent job, as he's done all series long, and made the save. So as was the case a few moments ago, it's Noah Hannafin who's quarterbacking this power play breakout for Calgary. And there's Ottinger with a play behind the net, and it's loose to Calgary, now picked up by Dylan Dubé. Dylan Dubé circles back around behind the net, and there is a shot from Mike Stone, and Michael Stone unleashes a howitzer and a blocker save. That is Calgary's 6th shot. So we are even on the shot clock, 6-6, but here comes Jamie Benn shorthanded, and he's bodied up the puck nicely by Dylan Dubé, and it's taken over by Michael Backlund. Michael Backlund skates to the center of the offensive zone, leaves it there for Oliver Shillington. There's a shot and a nice block. I think that was John Klingberg, or potentially Joel Hanley, excuse me. And the Flames retain possession here. Another shot from Stone. He knows his job tonight, as it was 2 nights ago when he drew into the lineup for the first time, called into action by Darryl Sutter. And it was shoot, shoot, and shoot again. He had 8 shots in Game 4 that was won by Calgary. And as the penalty expires here, Blake Coleman's dump-in attempt is up into the protective netting. So I'm seeing 6 shots for Dallas and 5 for Calgary. Maybe my math's a little off. I thought they evened up, but apparently I'm incorrect. But what I do know is we're still even on the scoreboard, 0-0, as we head to a commercial break. John, more action tonight. Definitely some fluid play. But as you were saying, we're having a little bit of deja vu, as neither team can really get a fully clean scoring opportunity, can they?
Nope, yes, we are. This is exactly what we're seeing right now, especially a good defense on both sides. That was a good check there, like you said, stick check from Dylan Dubé that almost created another opportunity for Calgary on the power play. And just like game four, they've been content to let those shots from the point go. And like you said, shooting is the name of the day because Jake Ottinger in the loss in game four made 50 saves. So if you're looking for a breakout party in terms of a 23-year-old goaltender, he's been the story in this series so far in between the pipes. And Jacob Markstrom's not been so bad either. In the sense of what Daryl Sutter wanted a little bit in game four. I don't know if you can attest to this, Cooper. I think he challenged Markstrom a little bit just to be able to make a couple of those extra big saves when Calgary really needed it. And he answered the call. And Calgary played much better here in game four. But we're seeing a lot of the same similarities here in game five that we saw in the first three games.
Agreed. And, I have another question for you. I mean, I'd love to tap into your knowledge, and I'm curious what your thoughts are about Jason Robertson, who's another young talent for Dallas who had an excellent regular season. And by and large, and this is the case sometimes the younger players when they're getting their first taste of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Sure.
Tell me if you think it's just that in general, or is it something else for Jason Robertson where he's faded a little bit after the end of the regular season and hasn't really been notable in this series? Anything to that?
It's got to be a little bit of a combination of both, Cooper, in all honesty. Calgary has been a really great team all throughout the year. Again, like a plus 88 goal differential to like a minus 9 on the side of it. You're not going to be able to get all that first line production every single time. So I would say definitely a little bit of both.
Agreed. As we're back here in Calgary with just under 4 minutes to play in the first period at the Saddle Dome, and this one is a face-off win for Dallas, but immediately the Flames turn the puck over and retain possession in the offensive zone. Dallas doing a nice job there in the far corner to chip back out to Calgary's end. Noah Hannafin will scoop this one across to Rasmus Andersson. He's pressured right there and almost turns the puck back over to Dallas. And now here's a cross-ice pass to Lindholm. He winds, fires, and a blocker saved by Ottinger. That was a beautiful setup, a nice shot, and an even better save by Jake Ottinger. And the Flames will regain control, settle things down just in front of Markstrom. 3 minutes, 10 seconds to play here in our opening period. Noah Hannafin gives to Milan Lucic. That one goes to Backlund. Backlund chips back to Lucic. Lucic going left to right behind Ottinger's net. And Tyler Toffoli, who's been a bit snake-bitten in this series. Maybe we can talk about the other side of the coin, whereas Jason Robertson, the young player for Dallas, has been struggling. Tyler Toffoli, who's got playoff experience, his name's on the cup twice. He's had some good shooting opportunities, but hasn't been able to score, as Dallas actually created a nice bit of offense right there. But the puck flutters past Markstrom with no harm done. Milan Lucic skates to the bench after losing his stick. Almost looked like he harpooned it forward. That was a strange play near the penalty boxes. And there's a quick shot to the right of Jacob Markstrom. 6 shots apiece. Now going to be 7 for Dallas. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Wraparound attempt on the forehand there. That is Robertson. He tried to get it to Sagan. And now the puck is picked up with some extended zone time here for Dallas. Potentially their longest time in the Calgary zone of the game so far. But Chris Tanev uses his strength to push Suter off the puck. And the puck will scoot back to neutral ice. Inside 2 minutes now in the first period. Coming up the far boards with the quick shot. I think that's, Miro Heiskanen. And that one is stopped fairly easily by Markstrom. And we see our first real extracurricular activity behind Markstrom tonight involving Yarncroke and Coleman. So, John, lots to talk about here. Are you seeing anything from Tyler Toffoli? Because we're not seeing his name very much. It seems like his ice time has been reduced a bit. And even though he's had some good scoring opportunities, that's somebody the Flames are going to need to get going if they want to extend this playoff run.
Absolutely agree with you there, Cooper. I haven't seen him as much, but I wouldn't count him out in terms of all that stuff with the Kings. He's one of those type of players that can step up in any given situation. It's all about taking that next shift and capitalizing on it.
So a face-off to Markstrom's right is initially won by Calgary, but they can't maintain possession. So the puck does end up on Zadorov's stick right there. He tries to get it out, and that is misplayed right there by Joel Hanley. And Dylan Dubé puts some good pressure on in the offensive zone. It's picked up there by Dubé. He spins back around, avoids a check, and doesn't avoid a second check. He's dumped down to the ice there, and there's a deflected shot that's trapped in the skates of Nemesnikov. Kelly Yarncroke and Nemesnikov both go down on the near boards. They disappear on the broadcast below the glass. And now with some time holding is Jacob Peterson. He tries to leave there for Klingberg. Klingberg is pushed off the puck, and the Flames take over with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go here in the first period. Now the puck is slung to the far corner to the left of Ottinger. And behind the net with the breakout play is Esa Lindell. He'll stretch this pass up to the red line where it's deflected in nicely by Dallas. Rasmus Andersson picks up. He is pressured there by Kiviranta. Flames do a nice job, though. Keep their heads. And we'll send this one out. And it looks like that puck gets deflected up into Johnny Gaudreau's face underneath the visor. I'm not sure if it was the puck or a stick blade. John, did you get a good look at that?
We're going to look at this one more time. Yes, the puck came off of Kirivanta's stick and hit Gaudreau inadvertently right in the face, in the visor.
So now we have the slow motion replay. That is correct. Yep, right up into potentially the ear area. And Gaudreau immediately turtles up, drops a glove, drops his stick.
He's going to the locker room.
He is going to the locker room. You are correct. And this is the second game in a row Johnny has had to head to the locker room. He took a hit to the head a couple nights prior. Luckily, no concussion symptoms and was cleared to return to play after several minutes. But let's hope for Flames fans and really for hockey fans with the kind of skill that Johnny Gaudreau has, which he displayed on a beautiful penalty shot goal in that 4-2 win. Let's hope he can return soon. So 33 seconds to go here in the first period. The Flames have possession after the face-off in the neutral zone. Now inside 30 seconds. No score here. Chances have been hard to come by. Noah Hannaford's stretch pass is going to be taken over by Dallas, but then he's able to tap that one back out of his own zone. And that one is slung along by Heiskanen. 15 seconds to play here. It's in the far corner. Rasmus Andersson can't keep possession, and it's backhanded along by Joe Pavelski. Nice checking right there. A couple players go down. So there's Toffoli. He's not going to put one into the back of the net. He's going to make his physicality known as he drops one of the stars, and then a shot from about 100 or so feet is saved easily by Ottinger as we have reached the end of the first period. So we're getting a look at some action here. I did not see this earlier, but Blake Coleman put the body on.
What a hit by Coleman. That was nasty.
And a clean one. Boy, I mean, I wish I could do it justice on the call, but Blake Coleman was one of the cleanest hits. Just in football, that would be a de-cleating. But, of course, no studs on those skates, just blades. And the teams head back to the locker rooms. Johnny Gaudreau will be met by his teammates and will hopefully have some good news and a return of Johnny Hockey in the second period. John, what are you seeing after 20 minutes here?
You know what, Cooper? Again, this is a lot of the same physicality that we saw 1, 2, and 3. There was a couple good opportunities there where Dylan Dubé was able to pass that one up in front to be able to get a clear look. Was it Lindholm that had that wrist shot that was just canceled off by Jake Ottinger? One of the few times that Calgary had an open look at the goal to be able to shoot at. But there really hasn't been much to speak of as far as shots. I can pull up all the official totals here in a second. It was 7-7 at the end of the first period. So more of the same with the defensive style. And if you like that type of hockey, you've really enjoyed this series. I can definitely say that.
Absolutely. And I want to welcome D. Elliott. Thanks for joining the broadcast here on Colorcast, my friend. You're in for a treat if you hang with us. I'm going to give all the credit to my co-caster tonight, John Ryan-Ott. If you haven't heard John before, the best hockey mind on Colorcast. We've become fast friends, and really all I do, I mean, listen, I'll describe what's happening in the play-by-play, but really all I do is I just try to tee up John to talk hockey, and it's always a good time. So I'm here on NHL.com taking a look at results of tonight's contest. Of course, the New York Rangers come back and win against the Penguins by a 5-3 final, and by the very same scoreline, the Florida Panthers, as we were saying earlier, John, 5 unanswered goals, and that has got to be some serious dejection for the Washington Capitals, who seemed to have the Panthers on the ropes a couple nights ago and seem to have them on the ropes again. But let's just touch on those two contests again. I'm surprised to see Washington, with their caliber of talent, give up 5 unanswered in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Cooper, it was one of those things that we talked about, and I did a lot of these series capsules here on Colorcast and for the site. I thought that Washington was going to be able to give Florida a significant fight. I picked Florida in 6, like I imagine a lot of people did. But my only concern was to why it went to that point was because would Washington get the goaltending that it needed to be able to survive in this series? That game on Sunday with a 6-1 win, it was great goaltending there from Samsonov. Several key saves in the slot. It could have been a lot different story. And I want to see who was in the pipes again here for the Capitals, because 5 unanswered goals again, Cooper, like you said, that's not something you ever see in a playoff game. That's more of a regular season performance. As the Cats, had another 30th comeback, combining the regular season into the playoffs. It's absolutely nuts.
It certainly is, and I just want to give D. Elliott a quick first period recap. There's no scoring to speak of, but both Dallas and Calgary finished after 20 minutes with 7 shots apiece. Both squads had one man advantage. There was, of course, no scoring on either. Face-off win percentage, this is something that John and I were talking about a little bit ago, and we've covered previous games in this first round series. Calgary, uncharacteristically, I would say, based on their stats from the regular season, has struggled at the face-off dot. In the first period, they had 43% of face-off wins, contrasted with 57% to Dallas. That's something that the Flames will have to clean up. John and I have touched on that. And, of course, I'm assuming, D. Elliott, as a hockey fan, you know the importance of face-off wins, maintaining possession, especially ozone face-offs. Calgary really struggled in the games they lost in this series. Seemed to turn a corner in their 4-2 win in Dallas a couple nights ago. But I know that Daryl Sutter, head coach of the Flames, is going to want to see a better number from Calgary moving forward. John, any additional thoughts there?
No, I think you pretty much hit everything spot on the head there, Cooper. And I'm looking on the ESPN side. I want to remember this as we talk about this. They just showed Sidney Crosby left in the second period. 6:50 left into it. Kevin Rooney got a hit up in the head area of Crosby. He is in concussion protocol.
You're right. I'm seeing the same replay here, and just as we said with Johnny Gaudreau, of course, it hardly needs to be mentioned, but would be such a devastating loss for Pittsburgh and for all fans of the Stanley Cup Finals. Playoffs. And if the Penguins have any hopes of making it to yet another Stanley Cup Final, I mean, so much success with the core that they have. Sidney Crosby being unavailable, you think would almost certainly end the likelihood of them advancing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. As much as there's a lot of veteran leadership in that locker room, you cannot replace somebody like that. There's no doubt.
Speaking of the best players in the world, let's talk about someone who is, with little argument, regarded as the best player on the planet, Connor McDavid. Now, John, just confirm for me, just personally, did you watch the Kings Oilers game last night?
As soon as I was done with my contest, yes, I flipped right over to watch that. I saw most of the third period, and I saw all that overtime, and that was very, very quick. And I want to make this point here, Cooper. And again, that's not to belay anything there for the GM or anyone else there, Ken Holland and all of that. But we talked about it many, many times with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. At least this is how I felt. The best player in the world and arguably a top 5 at worst. No doubt about that. But is all the heavy lifting going to be done just from those two? Can they find a way to get it done? That had to be so disheartening in that overtime. I look at it specifically, and I could be totally wrong on this, but hear me out. I look in that locker room as Edmonton was buzzing in those final minutes. They had a chance to win that game late in the third period. Jonathan Quick was tested. He was pretty much submarine with chances. It was a quick reset in that locker room. And I think about Anze Kopitar, Dustin Brown, and Jonathan Quick, the 3 Cup members that have still been there from the last 2 previous. They went right in that locker room with Todd McClellan, who coached both teams, said, look, we know exactly what we have to do right now. Let's go after it. Let's change it. Punch Edmonton right in the mouth, right in the overtime. And Adrian Kempe, man, he finished that so quickly.
Well, he did his best Connor McDavid impression. He really drove the net and got Mike Smith out of position, who had a very strong game.
He did.
And by no fault of his, Mike Smith, of course, he was, I wouldn't say fully hung out to dry necessarily. There were defensemen driving the net with Kempe as well, but Kempe created a beautiful chance really for himself and finished when he needed to finish. That was his best chance of the evening. He put the puck in the net, and I was, to be frank, not expecting the Kings to come away with the victory there after the third period the Oilers had.
It was one of those ones, man. I go back and I tell you the same thing that I've said. We have Jonathan Quick in the pipes. I know he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. That was a really great game for him. All kinds of pressure there from McDavid and Draisaitl. You cannot stop those two studs from getting their points. But as the rest of the guys be able to get that done? Now they got to go to crypto.com arena. I can't believe I'm saying that over Staples, but that's what it is now. So they're going back there with the Kings with a chance to finish it off. For as much pressure as Toronto and Calgary has, I can't imagine the amount of pressure that the Edmonton Oilers now have to feel if they don't get it done with those two stars. And I want to say one more thing. Darnell Nurse did his best Zinedine Zidane impression when he got the massive headbutt and only got the 1-game suspension. I thought that was very fortunate on that side. I don't see too many headbutts like that in the NHL playoffs.
That's true. The league has done a solid job of removing, I mean, of course, not that they were ever legal, but let's just say strongly discouraging that level of extracurricular activity. That is, obviously there's physicality in hockey. We're still going to see the gloves get dropped, especially in the playoffs. But a headbutt, I think he's very lucky to walk away with just 1 game.
Me too. I thought that was totally uncalled for in this situation. It wasn't even really warranted, to be honest with you.
No, the play preceding it didn't. You'd think, sure, you think a face wash. You'd think, you want to take a penalty? You want to cross check him? Sure. Not that I'm advocating for that. I would have understood it had he gone that route, but to go all the way to a headbutt. Clearly the emotions just overwhelmed him in that moment.
So in terms of the 3 Canadian teams, we're broadcasting one of them right now. Obviously, you would say the most pressure is the Toronto Maple Leafs, I would imagine, and they answered the bell. But where do you think Edmonton's panic level is?
Well, here's what's interesting to me. I think that now that the Kings are solidly in the driver's seat. Now, of course, anything can happen. I mean, Edmonton, decent on the road. They could answer and bring that series back to even with the deciding Game 7. However, you don't have an easy out because Mike Smith, other than that one blatant mistake in Game 1, which he almost bailed himself out of, but then ultimately the Kings did score the game-winning goal because of his mistake. Other than that moment, he has been a solid goaltender for Edmonton. And if Edmonton does not win the series, you can't just point to the crease and say, oh, well, we had old Mike Smith, and he couldn't get it done. So I think there's an interesting amount of pressure with all Canadian teams feeling more than I think any American team would, of course. But what will that conversation be? I think that it's something you touched on just a few minutes ago, where we've had this conversation for years and years. McDavid, Draisaitl, McDavid, Draisaitl, McDavid, repeat. How much longer can Edmonton just lean on those two incredible talents and not fill in behind them? Not saying there's not decent talent. They're in the playoffs for a reason. They have a legitimate chance to win their first round series. I mean, heck, we could see them in the Western Conference Final. The Flames, if they're able to beat Dallas, could easily see the Oilers in the next round. But if it doesn't go their way, John, do you think that's the conversation? We have to fill in behind McDavid and Draisaitl. It's just not enough.
You do. And I have to look back at it, like you said, Zach Hyman's a great player coming over from the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I can add him in that conversation for sure. But you're not really going to go beside too much of that. If you want to go Nugent Hopkins or whoever else, there's not enough there. And I will say this, again, as a Red Wings guy, Ken Holland did an excellent job when there was no cap. The 2002 Red Wings, able to amass as much talent as you want. With all the other cap situations, I'll bring my team in here for perspective quickly. It was Darren Helm. It was Justin Abelkader. It was, let me see who else was on the defensive side of things. I'm thinking Jonathan Eriksson. Really some players that turn more into pylons. I'm sorry, there really isn't any other way to say it. They were overextended as far as their money. And Ken Holland, he wants to do right by his other players. So if you're an agent and you're working for Ken Holland, you know your players are going to get paid. You feel great on that end. But if you're Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and we keep going back to this for a reason, if you're those two guys, two of the best talents in the entire world, and you're looking at the rest of your team around you, you're saying, Where is my help? You don't want to say that every single year. If you're talking about wanting to leave at some point and being, upset about everything, wasn't it one of the reporters, Cooper? I don't know the exact name, but he was Edmonton Oilers royalty, but he went to Draisaitl. I'm going to use the exact words. Why are you being so pissy? Come on, you can understand why these guys are upset.
Absolutely. I know you make a good point, and man, I flashed back in my mind to a younger version of myself. I hadn't thought about Darren Helm in many years, but now all I can see is Darren Helm and that kind of rough and rugged complexion and that kind of that scraggly beard and goatee. I'm just thinking about Darren Helm and what a force he was for Detroit. He was, listen, a different era of hockey. But I know we're talking about the Oilers, but now all I can think about is Darren Helm and how tough he was to play against.
Well, he's doing right now is the Colorado Avalanche is doing well. They've advanced. They're the only team right now getting to watch and relax as they swept the Nashville Predators. So they're waiting for the series winner, like I did yesterday, between the Blues and the Wild. What a series that has been. If you want to talk about two teams, especially in Vlad Tarasenko that we talked about, and Kirill Kaprizov, of the superstars doing superstar things, it was a natural hat trick for Vlad Tarasenko to put them up 3-2 in the series against the Minnesota Wild.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, it seems like these teams are just going back and forth with the winning team scoring 5 goals. That's just a magic number in that series. It's 5-2, and then a couple nights prior, of course, Minnesota wins 5-1. And then, Minnesota beat that score. They had 6 even before that. So really, I'm finding it interesting that the winning team in those series wins by such a margin. Now, listen, I know we're getting some empty netters here, but it seems like one team will grab a chokehold at one point partway through the game and just not release it. And it's very interesting to think about what's going to happen here with the Blues. Of course, one win away from moving on.
That feels like a 7-game series to me. And a lot of this has been so much NHL parity in the playoffs right now, and I know we both love it. And the fact that every single series has been competitive. Look, Nashville didn't have much of a chance. I do feel bad for Jussi Saros not being able to go. I don't think that would have changed the outcome in its entirety. But every single series, as we talked about, no eliminations within today and yesterday because they're all tied at 2-2. You got to love it if you're a fan of Stanley Cup hockey.
Okay, here's my. But I'll put you on the spot, not for at-length analysis. Let's just flash forward. Before we get done with this Calgary-Dallas game tonight.
Sure.
Let's look to tomorrow. Let's think about the 4 games that we have on tap. Every series, of course, at 3-2. You just tell me who you think is going to take the victory. So we'll start with, in the East, Carolina at Boston. The Hurricanes lead that series 3-2. What are we looking at?
Okay, it's been a barn burner, so to speak, for every single home team that has railroaded Carolina and Boston in their respects. Boston will come out. They got embarrassed in game 5 now? So they got embarrassed in that one at PNC. They will come out and they will find a way to get to game 7 in Carolina, and then all bets will be off one more. So I will say the perfection line with Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak, they will combine for like a 4 or 5 points and stomp Carolina in that game.
Okay, so Boston's going to even that series in Beantown. Let's jump ahead to Maple Leafs at Lightning. Toronto, of course, with all that pressure that we just talked about, more pressure than anywhere in Canada, many more in North America for a hockey team for that matter. Will the Leafs close it out in Florida, or does Florida push it 7?
That could be the toughest one to call for me in the sense of, I'll be honest with you, I think all of these series have the potential to go 7. But Toronto, the way that they came back, I think they kind of took some of the momentum out of the rails of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They know this is the best team that they're ever going to have. There's no more excuses. There's no reason to not have a 2004 series win. You have to figure it out now. Get it done.
All right, so that's the call. John Ott is calling Maple Leafs finish it off in Florida. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. And you tipped your cards a little bit on this one. So St. Louis will be at home with a chance to close out the series against the Wild. But I think you were hinting. I think that you're saying Minnesota's going to stretch this one to the full 7.
That's been way too close to call between the two teams. Probably the tightest series that we've had with the amount of goals anyway. Minnesota and Kirill Kaprizov will find a way to pull it out. 5-4 final. Crazy finish.
Wow. With the score. Okay, now here we go. It's my turn to say, I feel like I'm going to have to wash my mouth out. Crypto.com Arena.
Yes.
Will the Kings at home, let's just say they're at home, in Los Angeles, will the Kings finish off the Oilers and await either Dallas or Calgary, or does Edmonton find a little more mojo and push it to 7?
I will be on the call here for you tomorrow at the game at 10. I'm going to go with the Kings in that one.
Very interesting. So that is John Ryan odds close out. Oh, no, hang on. I just got distracted. With new tape as well, Johnny Gaudreau is back on the bench for the Flames. So, John, thank you for the, let's just say, the crystal ball breakdown. At the end of our first intermission, we are back here with a clean sheet of ice at the Scotiabank Saddledome. 10 seconds have gone here in the second period. It's Calgary-Dallas first-round series tied at 2. This game still knotted with no score. Dallas with a shot from the point. That one sneaks through. Markstrom goes down. He holds his head. He puts the glove to the mask area. I'm not sure if he got dinged up there. But, man, we have something happening right off the jump here in period number 2.
I see him taking off his mask and checking the chick lights upon second look. He might have took a stick right to the face, Cooper.
Let's take a look here. We see Rasmus Anderson behind the net. The puck goes back into this crease area, and I think Joe Pavelski may have got – Pavelski either got the blade of the stick, maybe the butt of the stick up under the mask of Markstrom. I think it was the left hand. So Pavelski's a right shot. So he gets the butt of the stick. I can't imagine the butt of the stick would go into the crease area, but now unbelievably, I don't think this is my fandom speaking, but I'm deeply surprised that now Dallas, between these two teams, is on a power play. So a little bit of a confusing action, I guess, is the only thing I can think to say here. So we have Markstrom almost injured by Pavelski, yet whatever happened during the play, Calgary did something illegal, and they have a man in the box now, and multiple whistles.
Cooper, they have Rasmus Anderson 2 minutes for hooking Michael Raffalo, and I did not see that at all.
Nor did I, so I apologize for my stuttering there a bit. I was just trying to get my bearings, and yeah, John and I are now up to speed. John, thanks for listing that penalty as Dallas wins an ozone face-stop, but then immediately goes out past the blue line by an inch or 2. So only 6 seconds have elapsed here in this power play, and we've had a whistle. If I'm doing my math correctly, we've had a whistle every 2 seconds.
Neutral zone face-off now, won by Dallas.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I'm a couple of seconds behind our color broadcaster tonight, so if John sees something interesting, he'll be the first to let you know. Always fun when the play-by-play man is behind the play as the Flames are able to maintain possession here in their own end. And Calle Yarncroke skates this one up the near wall. He holds it all the way down to the half wall, and Dallas this side of the ice. In the second period here, Dallas with their white and green road uniforms moving right to left. Calgary in their red, yellow, and white home uniforms with the red helmets moving left to right. Jacob Markstrom from his own trapezoid tries to send that one out. Can't do so. But now the puck flutters along. It's kept in by Dallas. Unfortunate there for Noah Hanifin. Sharp angle shot, either off the post or off the left skate or pad of Markstrom. There's a nice hit right there by Michael Stone. And the Flames are putting the body on here in the second period, but unable to clear the puck. So the second PK unit for the Flames not able to clear here. And now Dallas at the blue line. It's going to shoot from distance. That's Klingberg. Klingberg gets that shot off, and the Flames finally dump it down the ice back to Jake Ottinger.
Stone's been very noticeable. That was a great hit on Raffalo and a good clear out there. Calgary's been very solid on this penalty kill here, that we really don't know why they have to kill this penalty, to be honest with all of you.
That's true. No, we're hopefully we'll get another replay about the origin of this deficit in terms of men on the ice for the Flames. All we know is Rasmus Anderson is called for hooking, and we're taking a look from below the line, the red line. Tyler Seguin tried to put one on and pull his best Johnny Gaudreau impression. Johnny Gaudreau known to bank a puck off of a goaltender from time to time for a score. Seguin unable to do so there, and there was an icing that resulted in a face-off to the right of Jake Ottinger, and it is won. How many times have I said that in this series? It is won by Dallas. 25 seconds remaining here in the man advantage for the visiting Stars. 8 shots for Dallas, 7 for Calgary. That one's back to Nemesnikov near the blue line. He'll forehand that one down toward the goal. But Chris Tanev breaks up the play, and the Flames are able to clear down now with just 10 seconds to go. And out in front of the no-play zone, but legally, is Ottinger. And he'll slide that one to Ryan Suter, who walks up the ice and will send in from the red line at center. Markstrom tips that one, and that is thrown into the crease area. And, John, I don't know how you didn't make the call on your own. I know you're a few seconds ahead of me. But that was a Mike Smith moment right there. No offense to Mike Smith, but he has it from time to time. And Jacob Markstrom, who's been playing the puck in some unconventional ways tonight, he played that one to the near corner to his right, and Dallas sent that right back in with a wrist shot, and Markstrom had to dive down to the ice. I don't think he knew where the puck was. Frankly, I didn't know where it was. John, what'd you see on that one?
No, I thought Markstrom was playing a behind-the-back pass a little lazily. They got intercepted by Pavelski and then looked over the crossbar where he was down and out. Very close.
Defenseman Noah Hannafin dived down on top of the back of his goaltender to help flutter that over the top of the net. So some really strange moments here. I mean, this is the kind of series we've had, John. We had a nice, fairly fluid first period, but no major scoring chances other than a couple, including one nice wrister from Elias Lindholm that was saved by Ottinger. But now we've had kind of a choppy start to the second period. 16:45 on the clock here as Eric Branson looks to chase it down. It's going to be played out in front of the crease yet again by Markstrom. Now it's turned over. That one flies right over the top of the cage. So Dallas, I wouldn't say they're buzzing, but they've definitely had the run of play here. And there's an icing from Calgary. The face-off will come back down to the other end in just a moment.
Yes, they've had the better play over the last 4 minutes. You're kind of wondering who's going to take control of this game right now. Rick Bowness' squad, they've been sitting on the doorstep here with some big-time saves here for Markstrom and Hannafin, even though there was a couple of gaps there that were pretty close.
And as I like to do, credit to the ESPN folks on the feed here. Just a quick reminder that Ottinger, who's been standing on his head here in the playoffs, was in the minors to start this regular season, and he was called up. Actually, it was the day before my birthday, November 13th, back in 2021, which seems like so long ago. Here we are in spring, almost summer 2022, first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs here from the Scotiabank Saddledome. I'm Cooper Hopkins with John Ott. And the Flames have possession in their own end, and will stretch a pass along to the Dallas zone. Joel Hanley will take over there. He's got Andrew Mangiapane right behind him, and Rasmus Andersson, who's been out of the box for a bit now, will toss that one along the end boards. 10 shots for Dallas, 7 for Calgary. Mangiapane stops on a dime, sends it over to Noah Hannafin, who's way down from the blue line. And here comes Rasmus Andersson. So we're seeing a page from Dallas's book. They were pinching their defenseman in the first period. Now the Flames are doing the same. Tyler Toffoli from below the net. There's a slap shot from the left point, blocked. That one was blocked by Ryan Suter. I was about to say Robertson. Robertson, of course, wearing 21. Suter with the round number 20 on his back. And now out in front, Andrew Mangiapane, puck loose. And it scoots through the blue paint. The score stays even at 0. Could have been 1-0 Flames right there.
That was some really good puck possession, some shots at the blue line from Andersson and Hannafin as they take turns. Mangiapane had a chance on the doorstep. Calgary looked pretty dangerous there. They're trying to finally pressure Ottinger a little bit, who's looked pretty much unbeatable throughout this series, even though the series is tied 2-2. He's probably in the saves of the 100 range almost.
You're absolutely right, and we see the replay here. A beautiful pass from the trapezoid through the legs on the backhand from Toffoli. He gets it to Mangiapane, who does control the puck just long enough to get a shot off, and it deflected off the right arm in the blocker area of Ottinger. He had some of the fans here at the Saddledome up on their feet for a moment. I think they thought that was going in, and so did I. So now the offensive zone faceoff for Dallas is won by Dallas. The theme continues as Noah Hannafin's pushed off the puck, but a nice job by Calle Jarnkrok to move his feet. He picks up possession, sends along to Dylan Dubé. Dylan Dubé knocks it into the near corner. Milan Lucic, he's stepped onto right there by Nemesnikov. Now this one flutters back behind the net. Looked like it was going in front of Ottinger's space for a moment, but goes behind the cage. And now from the blue line, nice seeing eye shot from Oliver Shillington, gloved down by Ottinger. And yet another save for the netminder wearing white.
Cooper, Calgary's starting to do a much better job with those shots in the point of getting traffic in the front to try to obscure Ottinger's vision right now, and that's what you got to be able to do in this series. If these goalies have been able to see the puck, most likely they've stopped it.
That's true. It seems to be a directive from Daryl Sutter. Get that puck on net, no matter what the cost, and make it difficult for Ottinger to see that coming from distance. So the Calgary defenseman coming into play in a big way right here. Another shot from the blue line area. It actually goes wide of the net there and bounces out to neutral ice. And now into the offensive zone with some time and space. This one's dropped back for Esa Lindell and a right pad save as Dallas answers, and they shoot from distance. A partial 3-on-2 here. There's a slap attempt on a one-time from Lindholm, but it deflects off his skate. And now Blake Coleman, former Stanley Cup winner with the Tampa Bay Lightning, actually got his ring from last year while a member of the Flames this year. And we have a stoppage in play as another shot from out near the blue line is gloved down by Ottinger. So we're definitely seeing a theme here, aren't we, John? The theme seems to be get that puck low to high, let the defenseman send it back in and see what happens.
Absolutely. Both teams are not straying away from the game plan, so it's going to be who's going to blink first, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and I'm also going to be very curious, as I am now. I certainly will be after this contest, regardless of the outcome. Daryl Sutter has put his lines in the proverbial blender. As someone who's seen a lot of Flames action this year, things looking a little bit different here. We have Johnny Gaudreau on the ice with Trevor Lewis, for example. That's not something I've said potentially at all this year. So here comes Dallas. They just get into their offensive zone. That's Marian Studenic. And the Flames do a nice job of pressuring him at the near boards. And Johnny Gaudreau does what he does best, stick handling in his own end. Not to imply that he stick handles best in his own end, but he had to do it then. And now the Flames give up the puck promptly, and it's tapped back along for Joel Kiviranta, and play is whistled dead. 13:28 to go here in the second. John, this has been certainly, with the two periods played so far, the tale of two different plans, I would say, from both Rick Bowness and Daryl Sutter. I didn't see this amount of shots from the blue line in the first period. I think something was said in the locker rooms.
I think that kind of goes more along the lines of the game we had a couple days ago for Calgary when they had that record-setting shots in a non-playoff OT game. We've had more along the lines of that same game plan in the second period. Like you said, there's been so much line shuffling there for Daryl Sutter. He wants to try to jumpstart anybody here, and I think he would have to do that. Look, I don't think any one of these teams is afraid of anyone else that's in the pipes, but I will say this again. If you're not screening Markstrom or Ottinger, the shots are probably not going in. That's why we've seen the 0-0 score line that we have right now with 13:28 left to go in the second period.
That's true. We are on a commercial break here, and I just want to mention, this is a theme that we talked about when we last broadcast the Flames and Dallas game in this series. I asked you about Calgary, who has been taken out of their game by a small margin by Dallas. Not to the point where they've been blown away in any of these contests, or that the Flames are necessarily in danger of not walking away with a series win, which I think most people expect, even at this point. But, John, is there some kind of admission from Daryl Sutter and his coaching staff with this type of play? Are they saying to Dallas, we see what you're doing. We admit, so to speak, I'm doing my air quotes, we admit that you've taken us out of what made us successful in the regular season, which is primarily our top line, high skill, tic-tac-toe passing plays. We've just not seen the time and space for those plays to happen in this series. Is there an admission of that by Daryl Sutter and his crew and say, we're going to have to beat you another way? Or do you think this is just something else?
I think, Cooper, you're probably exactly right. Look, if it was game 2, we could hash it up and have a good laugh about it. But this is game 5 in the series where it's pretty much kind of stayed the same way. I think he's probably looking at that, saying that they're going to beat us in certain instances, and we're going to find a way to just try to counter it the best we can.
So we are back here with 13 minutes to play in the second period. As that pass goes backhand from Klingberg, and it was a high danger scoring chance, but no shot off. The Dallas Stars able to keep it into the blue line. It almost trickled out to the neutral zone, but does not. And now a good job by the Flames to clear that one out from the near corner. And Kelly Yarncroke skates it down. Jason Robertson will pick up promptly, though, and send this one over to Jamie Benn. The Stars captain is pushed off the puck, and it will be picked up by Swedish defenseman Rasmus Andersson. The pass is returned to him right away. He has a bit of trouble getting that puck settled down. He'll leave it there at the near boards for Tkachuk. His pass is deflected, but not picked up by Dallas. Lindholm keeps it, sends it right toward Ottinger. He was looking for, I think it was Tkachuk there on the doorstep, but he couldn't get a shot off, tied up with one of the Stars' defensemen. Now Johnny Gaudreau on his forehand skates right to left. Here's Rasmus Andersson with a wrist shot. That one skies over the top of Ottinger. So Andersson, who had the opening goal in Game 4, had an opportunity right there, a nice back pass by Gaudreau, and now Dallas takes it into the offensive zone. Inside 12 minutes to play here in the central period of 3 in Calgary. 0-0 our score, 12 shots, Dallas 8 for Calgary. So the shot clock has far fewer than it did 2 nights prior. Isn't that true, John?
Yes, it is. It doesn't even look like the same game.
Now the Flames whip this one around to Johnny Gaudreau, who's at the far boards. And this one touchdown to Matthew Tkachuk, who leaves it in the near corner from Michael Backlund. Big hit right there by Yanni Hakanpää, but luckily Backlund doesn't get too much of it. There's a shot that comes from Tyler Toffoli, but it's deflected off a stick blade. He skated off the bench. Now he's loose in front, takes the narrow angle shot. That was off his shoulder and sneaks through the blue paint and was inches away from getting tucked into the far post. So the Flames with a big opportunity right there, and the puck on end almost made it 1-0 Calgary, but it's 0-0. There's a shot that doesn't make it through. It's picked up by Dallas in the high slot. Now Tyler Toffoli, point blank. Oh, it's back and forth now. Calgary, just when it looks like Dallas is going to clear, they get another scoring opportunity, and Tyler Toffoli had 2 of them. My goodness, what a sequence for the Flames. 10:45 on the clock now. Nikita Zadorov in his own end sends this one back out, but is kept in by Miro Heiskanen of Dallas, and that one is shot in on the left side of Markstrom's net. Doesn't actually make it all the way to him, though. Tyler Toffoli still out. What a long shift for him. He backhands another one just for good measure. Sends another one in from about 40 feet. It bounces in, and Ottinger has to make the save and stop play. My goodness, John, I'm taking a water break. That was a heck of a sequence.
Cooper, how did that puck not go across the red line there for Tyler Toffoli? It was Rasmus Andersson that just missed the high post on the right side. Tyler Toffoli shot the same shot from the left faceoff circle. It slid across the red line and stayed out. And Jacob Markstrom also had to make a big save through a screen. And if he didn't make that one after a almost non-goal there, that would have been deflating.
My goodness, and we just saw a great close-up shot of Tyler Toffoli on the bench after coming off the ice, and he shakes his head, looks down to his feet. I don't blame him. I mean, he's done so much for the Flames. You know, he's a leader in the room. He's had a couple of hits tonight, and my gosh, what incredible opportunities right there, and he must just feel like someone's got a voodoo doll of him somewhere, because that puck, it looked like it was rolling right across the line but stayed out. So it's still 0-0 here in Calgary with just over 10 minutes to play in the second period.
I have the same reaction as Toffoli watching this series with you. It's been absolutely crazy.
So the Flames with the O-zone draw. Calle Yarncroke is at the face-off dot, but he couldn't win it for Calgary. And it's picked up there by Mangiapane with a wrister, and he sends that one a couple of feet wide. Probably like to have that one back, but he was pressured on. And now Jamie Benn looks up above him as the puck had been fluttering, and he slaps it from the blue line all the way down the ice, and the Flames chase it down for the icing call. So now it's 13 shots, Dallas, 10 for Calgary, and boy, I don't know, was somebody crack open a smelling salt on the Calgary bench? They look like a different team than they were 5 minutes ago.
It's looking more like the game from a couple nights ago now, Cooper. There's been the ebbs and flows in this series. They've not been able to be predictable. A crystal ball wouldn't find you the fortune here.
Truer words never spoken. And admittedly, as a fan, I would love to see some consistency. But you know what? As a broadcaster, these are the things that make it exciting.
Yes.
When you just have to stay on your toes. And right now, Johnny Gaudreau on his toes trying to chase the puck down in the trapezoid. But now the Flames caught, and we have a 2-on. Never mind, I'm sorry. We had a, oh my gosh, Jamie Benn takes it right through the crease. I didn't know where Nikita Zadorov was on the ice. He was all the way back in front of Markstrom. So it looked like a 2-on-1, but Zadorov basically just playing stay-at-home defense on that play. And we're at 9:35 to go here in the second as Dallas cycles in their in their offensive end. And that's Jason Robertson being pressed off the puck by Michael Stone, once again making his presence felt. And in particular, Jason Robertson feeling his presence on that play. Now, Johnny Gaudreau pinned up against the glass by Yanni Hakanpää. The Flames finally get the puck out of their own end and down to Dallas's side. But this one passed along, and here comes Raffl, but the puck bounced at the line, and the play is offside. My gosh, I'm taking a deep breath right now, and to be frank, I'm glad we're going to commercial. I got to gather myself, John. This is turning into yet another fantastic game in this first-round series.
It is, and we profiled Jason Robertson a little bit for Dallas as far as where his production has gone. And that last sequence there, as Ben was trying to put on a couple stick handles and toe drags, Robertson got in there deep, but Zadorov had to make him pay for that time and space. And that's what you have to do in the playoffs. Look, we understand that Dallas's first line accounts for over 45% of their production. Could Dallas win this series with just one good line? Well, you're going to have to shut down certain players. He might be one of those ones that you said in the first year coming in here trying to make something happen. You're 23 years old. The lights are going to shine the brightest. It's going to be hard to do some other things. You're not going to be able to shut down Joe Pavelski or Jimmy Benn or some of those other players, but you have to try to pick your battles. And Calgary did a good job in that final sequence before the icing to make sure Robertson knows that he's not going to be able to get in front of the net without a price to pay.
100%, another great breakdown, and I want to welcome Prince to the broadcast with just a fantastic handle on Colorcast. You got Prince. That's a pretty damn good one. My name's Cooper Hopkins. I'm handling play-by-play tonight for this Game 5 between Calgary and Dallas in Alberta, and you just heard John Ott on color. He's the best in the business. I'm lucky to have him alongside tonight. So, of course, as we lose Prince immediately, but hey, he gave us 5 likes, John. So that
we'll take what we can get here. I appreciate it. I don't have the smooth as butter voice that you have, so it's a nice compliment to both.
No, listen. I love it. You got the brain, and I'm just trying to stumble my way through this back and forth action between the Flames and the Stars. Oh my gosh! So we're back now at the Saddle Dome. 13 shots for Dallas, 10 for Calgary. And we have a face-off coming up that will be taken by Michael Backlund, and his counterpart will be Roope Hintz. And Roope Hintz with the cleanest face-off win of the night. And this one is shoveled along and in behind Markstrom. And that one comes out in front. Markstrom has to poke check it away. So we're right back to the action here. No respite for us. And this one's kept into the line. Now Hintz, the left-handed shot, is on his forehand of the near boards. Tries to leave that one for Pavelski, but it sneaks all the way back around. Now Milan Lucic is bounced off the puck. He was looking to clear it out of his own zone. Nice work there by Oliver Shillington, I believe, and it's over to Rasmus Andersson and shipped along by Toffoli. Now Michael Backlund chasing down with the puck is Miro Heiskanen. He gets that one to Roope Hintz. And now Raffl goes to Hintz. One-timer, and that one goes right past Jacob Markstrom. Boy, it looked like he was trying to pull a matrix move right there. As here comes Tyler Toffoli, not the fleetest of foot, but he toe drags, goes backhand, and chasing the play and getting back to make the defensive stop. Radek Faksa, first time we've said his name tonight, and at a pivotal moment, that was Tyler Toffoli. Boy, you'd like to see what would have happened there if 13 would have been on the ice. And the puck loose in the crease. Jacob Markstrom puts the glove on top, and it's whistled down. My goodness, how close we've come. How many times we get another shot of Tyler Toffoli. John Ott, what is happening right now? These teams want to score, but they can't.
I was going to tell you, I almost fell out of my seat when Tyler Toffoli was put on the toe drag if he had a little more steam there with the skates. And then on the other end, Jacob Markstrom, just before it crossed the red line with all sorts of traffic, able to glove that one down. These teams are really trying hard to score, but at 8:01 left in the second, it's 0-0 still.
Boy, Prince joined us during a commercial break. He should have stayed for the action because we got plenty of it. You know, we're generous guys. We're trying to share this incredible game. I mean, this is really fantastic playoff hockey. And I mean, the goalies, excuse me, as I understandably have to clear my throat a bit here, pardon me, the goalie play has been exceptional. And now we have a stoppage in play, and the doors behind Ottinger have opened up. I'm not sure if we're going to have maybe a repair of the glass here. That's usually what we see when that's taking place.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're able to do this series here together, man. This has been really, really fun. This has been two really good teams. And look, there was some counter punch in game 4 where it looked a little bit more in favor of Calgary, but we have not seen that from the first 3 games prior. So this one has been very close to call, just like St. Louis and Minnesota has. But you could take a single game with the amounts of goals, and you could throw it in the entire series of this one, and you still wouldn't have enough. Because these two teams just haven't given up a lot of goals here. It looks like we're getting a repair of one of the window panes on the glass, I think. The ladder's coming out.
Just when we think we're not going to see something new, of course we would have the ladder skated out. And now, not only is the ladder and the crew out to fix a pane of the glass, apparently it doesn't need fixing, so they're just going to skate it right there. They want to show off their Werner ladder. The Flames made a trip to the hardware store earlier. Hey, look what we got, everybody. Okay, now let's take it back. Let's take it back underneath the stands. Daryl Sutter looks unimpressed by that sequence as the faceoff is won. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, by Dallas in the offensive zone, and we're inside 8 minutes to play here in the second period. But Calgary takes over. Here comes Eric Branson, not a name that I thought I would say, as he comes streaking down the left wing and backhands one on to Ottinger. And now we're getting some pushing and shoving. This looks familiar. This is a couple games prior, and right in the middle of it, Blake Coleman. And Coleman, not afraid to go to the greasy areas, and he does right there.
Yeah, Student H hasn't gotten a lot of time in this series here for Rick Bowness in Dallas, but he was right in the middle of it as well.
Joel Hanley, defenseman for Dallas, apparently taking exception to the delayed stop by the Flames forward. No contact with Ottinger, though, so the scrum was broken up relatively easily. And on this faceoff, Luke Glendening will be waved out of the circle. So Nemesnikov steps in, and he'll take the faceoff against Elias Lindholm, the top line center for Calgary. So we see Elias Lindholm out with Johnny Gaudreau and Blake Coleman. So, of course, Matthew Tkachuk, normally the name that I would say there, not what I'm saying right now. The lines have been mixed by Daryl Sutter. I'm sure he'll be asked by the media what's been going on in his brain. And Eric Branson skates the icing down, and Glendening seems to be holding a wrist there. I'm not sure if he got clipped. But either way, stoppage in play, so he'll have a moment to recover.
4 potential elimination games tomorrow, too. It's going to be a loaded night of hockey.
That's true, and we have a face-off win for the Flames here. That one goes back to the left point, and it's chipped out right away by Dallas. Flames fighting for possession there near their own bench. A nice touch backhand pass by Michael Backlund to Dylan Dubé. He skates on his offhand to the near boards and into the near corner, backhands it around for Backlund. He's looking for someone in the slot, no one there. Chris Tanev looking for a deflection as he shoots in from the right point. And the Flames will hold possession. Now a sharp angle shot by Tanev, who's pinching. Said that a few times this evening. The Flames skate backwards toward their own end of the ice. Tanev with Oliver Shillington. And Shillington's pass is fluttered into the near corner in the Dallas end. 6:45 to play here. Chris Tanev fighting with Jamie Benn, Stars captain, near the blue line. Benn keeps it in. Stepping in is Robertson. Robertson shoots point blank, and the puck is in. Jason Robertson, the name that I hadn't mentioned at all this series. He's off the schneid, and it is 1-0 Dallas.
It was a simple
Jason
chip.
Robertson, I think it's fitting. John, I'll let you jump in here. I think it's fitting that the scorers for ESPN marked that as a Calgary goal. This series had something for everyone. Mistakes, incredible play, messy play, penalties, fights, and Jason Robertson on the forehand steps in, shoots, and I think that one was deflected off a body Let's see what you saw here, John. I know you just got the replay.
It was a simple chip and chase in there, and then Ben and Sagan went to work, and then when Robertson got the shot right on, it got deflected off of Markstrom's glove and then got tapped out of the air and went in. So I know Calgary fans have been not wanting to say Robertson's name as he had 41 goals in the regular season. He gets the first one for Dallas here with 6:15 left.
Well, if tradition holds in this series, as we mentioned in the opening of our broadcast tonight, the team that has scored first as Dallas walks in with another shot, and that's a beautiful save by Markstrom with a right pad. Dallas keeping that momentum hot, and the puck is sent in from well in front of the blue line, and Ottinger has to hold on to it. So play whistle dead with 6:08 to go here. It's now 1-0 Dallas, but a beautiful weaving passing play, and Markstrom in great position out in front of the crease makes the save.
Did that one bounce off of Noah Hannafin now that I got a second look at it, Cooper? Did you see that?
It did. We did. We got a sharp angle shot from Robertson on the goal. That one popped out of the webbing of the glove, it looks like, and Hannafin was sliding back across, trying to defend the potential pass, and it looks like it went off either kind of his rib or backside area and right into the net. So 1-0 Dallas, and what I was saying before is the team that scored first in every game of this series has gone on to win. So the Flames will have to flip that on its head if they want to take a massive 3-2 series lead back to the Lone Star State.
Wow, this series has had everything so far, no doubt about it.
It absolutely has, and of course ESPN showing it right now if you're following along with the video feed. Team scoring first, 4-0. So Jason Robertson with his first goal of the series, and now the Flames break out. Here comes Nikita Zadorov, slapper from the blue line, handcuffs Ottinger just a bit, and Lily Shue, thanks for joining us. A color cast legend, dare I say. And we have 5:40 to go here in our middle period, and Dylan Dubé whiffs on a great chance. He was about 4 feet out. Couldn't get the blade of the stick on that back pass from the trapezoid. 16 shots for Dallas, 13 for Calgary. Johnny Gaudreau on the forecheck now, looking to press against John Klingberg, but Dallas keeps it, and then it slides underneath the stick of Oliver Shillington, the Swedish defenseman, wearing number 58 for Calgary. On your radio dial, Calgary going from left to right in this period. Right to left are the Dallas Stars wearing their road white and green uniforms. And a shot by Blake Coleman is handled easily by Ottinger. And Coleman's been mixed up in some scrums here. He's in one right now during live play in the far corner. Now Coleman on his forehand swings this one back around to the right point, kept in nicely by Tanev, former Vancouver Canuck. But it's picked up by John Klingberg, and at the far half boards on his backhand, Vlad Nemestikov sends it down, and now it's loose, scoots across. Markstrom with another Mike Smith impression has to poke check that one, and he kind of chipped it up into the air, put some English on it. And that one's now back down to the far corner. Tyler Toffoli, who's had some golden chances tonight for Calgary, tries to keep it in, but Johnny Gaudreau holds it. Now his pass to the point is behind Rasmus Andersson, and the Flames will retreat. Their defensive pairing of Noah Hannafin and Andersson chasing that one down. Now Tkachuk on the ice. His ice time seems to have been reduced a little bit tonight. Hannafin and Anderson still out there. And Toffoli at the near boards can't get it out, and Dallas chips it back in. Noah Hannafin now. Touch pass back to Toffoli. Toffoli scoots back behind his own goal, and it's over to Markstrom, who kicks it. Little soccer play right there. You see so frequently hockey players warming up by juggling a soccer ball in the locker room area. Flames are known to uphold that tradition, and apparently Rasmus Andersson wanted to bring it into the game tonight. So 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the second period. 1-0 Dallas, thanks to Jason Robertson, who went off of the glove of Jacob Markstrom, the Flames netminder, and a big collision there near the blue line. Going down was Trevor Lewis. He's up, though. Doesn't seem too much to be dealing with any injuries there. There's a shot from distance. That one may have been touched by the stick of Ottinger. And now the sizable defenseman for the Flames, Nikita Zadorov, sends it back around and barely kept in. No correction, not kept in. Eric Goodbranson could not stop that puck from fluttering over the blue line and play his whistle down offside. John, time for me to take a sip of water. This has been yet another incredible game in this series. Jason Robertson has scored. Tyler Toffoli's been close multiple times. What do you think it's going to take for the Flames to even this game?
Flames are going to have to try to find a game that was similar to the one from a couple of nights ago, but it looks to be another one of those times. And again, maybe it's just the broadcaster curse. I love working this game with you and all that stuff, but it seems like every time I work the game here with you, Dallas is playing a better game. And that's a little scary here, but it's just one of those ones. They have to get more shots at the point. They got to be able to find more traffic. It's not one of those broken record things. It's just the truth. If we're looking at it right now, 16 shots to 14 in favor of Dallas. This feels like one of those situations where there should have been a lot more opportunities on both sides, but there's been so many missed opportunities on both sides. But there's been a lot better end-to-end action here in this game from when the first three games. I'll say that. But Calgary's got to find a way to finish this one. And when they get some chances here and they get space, just be patient with it, work it around, and get some shots on Ottinger because, again, they're just not doing enough just now.
I totally agree, and you were talking about missed opportunities. There have been a few of those for the Flames. I do not want to miss this opportunity to, again, say hello to Lily. Lily, of course, so thrilled to have somebody with a blue check hanging out. You got the ColorCast blue check verified. This is big time. But I'm curious, and I don't know if you want to throw this in the chat if you have a moment. I'm just curious, if I'm not mistaken, I know you're a Brewers diehard. I think you're in the Wisconsin area. So maybe this is just your sports fandom showing, but it's the Flames and the Stars. We got a Canadian hockey team in the Rockies, and we got Dallas. So give John and I a little insight. What brings you to the game tonight? Always happy to hear you and happy to have you. Yes, got that blue check from way back. Make no mistake, you are no blue check rookie. You are a blue check veteran. And the Flames, dare I use a convenient segue here, need their veterans to step up. And they have several of them. They have a number of players with their name on the Stanley Cup. And with 3 minutes to play here, Dallas walks into the offensive zone. Pass intended for Nemesnikov is deflected away, but the Flames turn it over immediately. And now chasing down the puck is Kigaranta. But the Flames will close down on the puck as Lindholm is knocked into the boards right there. But the Flames successfully get it out of their own zone, only to have it sent right back in by Dallas. So Dallas has flipped this game on its head a bit. Of course, the goal is huge, but they've also had the momentum here and the better play over the past 5-6 minutes or so. And there's a golden opportunity from Gaudreau. I couldn't actually see who was streaking through the crease right there. It was Blake Coleman, and he couldn't finish from truly point-blank range. Not just using that cliche, but he was right in front of Ottinger. Couldn't get his stick on the puck. Now the Flames are in their own end. Zadorov gets it out. It's up to assistant captain Michael Backlund, and now here comes streaking in Dylan Dubé, forehand, backhand, forehand, and we have a penalty called. Save made by Ottinger. A slash on the play. Looks like the official is pointing at Ryan Suter. And Zadorov has some words with Stars captain Jamie Benn. Zadorov with a wry smile on his face. The Flames with 15 shots now. Boy, Johnny Gaudreau showing that stick work. He kept that puck in near the blue line, and that probably should have been a goal there. What do you think, John? That was Blake Coleman right. I mean, he was a foot away from a goal.
That was right on the doorstep. And then what a great back pass there from Michael Backlund to Dylan Dubé. Turning on the Jets, holding off the backhand, moving right, left, right, trying to fake out Ottinger. Love the skate and the power display there as Calgary was able to draw a penalty. Let's see if they can get on the board here with 2:05 left.
So the Flames now with another power play opportunity. They are 0 for 1 so far, but fresh 2 minutes of man advantage time now will begin. So essentially they will, barring some other developments, they will basically end this period, which has 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining, on the power play. So the faceoff seemed to have been won by Elias Lindholm, but Dallas takes it to the near corner. With the puck there is Yanni Hakanpää, and that one's sent back around. Nice skating right there by Rasmus Andersson. He holds that in. Sends it over to Johnny Gaudreau. Now below the goal is Matthew Tkachuk. Gaudreau to Anderson. Slap shot right there. He scored on that shot a couple nights ago. That was the opening goal in Game 4, which the Flames won 4-2. And that puck sent back down to Jacob Markstrom, who leaves for Rasmus Andersson. Rasmus Andersson doing it himself right now. Skates all the way to the face-off circle. And the shot taken by Tkachuk sails high and wide of Ottinger's net. 1 minute and 17 seconds to play here in Calgary's man advantage. 1 minute and 17 seconds to play in the second period. So as was a couple moments ago, Rasmus Anderson skates forward, going to drop it off for Johnny Gaudreau there, and his pass is errant and slides beyond Matthew Tkachuk, and that is an icing. Unfortunate development, not something that you want on your own power play. So the Flames will have a defensive zone draw in just a moment with a minute and 2 seconds to go in their power play.
Hey, we appreciate those comments, Lee. It's nice to be able to get some people interacting with us. We love the game of hockey. We love the Stanley Cup playoffs. There really isn't any other better sport in terms of their playoff intensity as this.
And Lily, I will say, as someone who is regularly broadcasting on Colorcast, if you have not heard John Ott before, this man right here, best hockey mind on Colorcast. So if you see him on a play-by-play call or handling some of his game recaps or capsules, definitely give him a listen because he knows what he's talking about. The Flames now with a little bit of offensive zone time, 40 seconds to go with the man advantage. Michael Stone, 7th defenseman for the Flames, wearing number 26. He had 8 shots in game number 4. He was put into the lineup, and he's got a chance right here. The puck bounces off his stick, sends it right back through the crease. Can't find a teammate. Michael Stone with that 90-plus mile per hour howitzer. And he dives back. A nice play right there. Michael Stone giving full efforts tonight. He has been everywhere. But I will say, when your most noticeable player is technically your backup defenseman, not the best development. So that is partly why the scoreline is 1-0 Dallas, as Stone keeps the puck in at the blue line. And with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1, the shot is blocked there on the doorstep by Joel Hanley, Stars defenseman. And we have reached the second intermission. So 1 goal scored by youngster Jason Robertson, who had 41 tallies during the regular season. It's 1-0 Dallas, and the Flames will have to answer if they want to try to even this game and eventually take a 3-2 series lead. Huge game here in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And John, definitely a back-and-forth second period. What are your thoughts in general? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but you always have some insight, and I'm curious.
I want to go back to this, too, because you made a great point toward the end of the last 10 seconds. If you're calling out Michael Stone as being the best player on the Calgary Flames, it doesn't really bode well as far as the third period is concerned. So we'll see if Calgary can find a way to get back on the board. Here's the one little instance that's been different. There's only been 4 penalty calls aside when we've had, within the last 3 games or so, about 16 on both sides. Yes, I know you've had some offsetting 4-on-4s, and you had a lot of guys that had time and space. Well, it really doesn't matter how much time and space you've had in this series because nobody's been able to finish. I'm running out of superlatives to say, find time and space, shoot, get traffic into the point, all these other things. Cooper, have you noticed as much as I have, or maybe I'm crazy, there's a lot of guys blowing a tire here on the ice throughout this second period especially. Have you noticed that a lot?
Yeah, that's something that has caught my eye, and maybe I'm not sure if I don't think it would be some sort of bias, but it's something that I felt was a factor a couple of games ago several games ago now in Calgary. I don't, listen, we're talking about an ice surface that's not known. I mean, we're not talking a warm weather climate.
I get it, yes.
I don't think that we have any ice issues necessarily, but I'm not sure if we have. I mean, listen, these are elite hockey players. I'm not sure if it's just minor changes in their game. I'm not sure if they're expecting a hit, quote unquote, hearing footsteps, so to speak. I don't know what it could be if they're overskating the puck slightly, moving their feet a little slower than their brain's working. Maybe they're thinking, in Calgary's case in particular, now we're chasing it. We're down 1-0. John, did you see players losing their edge and falling after the goal, prior to the goal, both?
I saw it more now since you've been chasing, as you've said. It caught my eye. There was a couple times where you just had the power play. Rasmus Anderson could have kept it alive on the blue line as they had a couple good move attempts there with Lindholm and Gaudreau, and he just wasn't able to keep it alive in the slot area, which gave Dallas enough of a chance of reprieve, get back in that defensive shell that they've been playing throughout this series. And look, Calgary, with the exception of the last game from a couple nights ago, they've not done enough to be able to break Rick Bowness and his team, Dallas, out of this defensive shell. And until it gets changed, I think they're going to try to do this all the way with a chance to win this series. And if things don't change, and you're looking back going to American Airlines here for Game 6, things are going to get really, really interesting here, Cooper. So if Calgary is able to find it here in this game that's looked more like the first three, we have yet to see it again.
All right. Now, John, I have a tough one for you.
Sure.
So also want to welcome, oh my gosh, Lily, I'm sorry, you're not the only blue check in the list anymore. Patrick is here. Patrick, welcome, my friend. We're doing some play-by-play with John. I love it, just the eyes emoji. I imagine you and Patrick know each other quite well. Patrick, we're in our second intermission here. It's 1-0 Dallas Stars over the Calgary Flames at this moment, thanks to a goal by Jason Robertson in the second period. Robertson, excuse me. So, John, here's my question for you.
Sure.
This is not something that I wanted to bring up. Now, admittedly, listen, I feel like I do a decent job of maintaining some neutrality during the play-by-play. But as a Flames fan, I did not have this conversation tonight. So they're down 1-0. Let's say that we're watching a replay, so to speak, of those first couple games of the series. Very low event, low scoring. Let's say the game ends up 1-0, maybe 2-0 with an empty netter. The Flames have to go to Dallas. They're down 3-2. Let's say the Flames are not able to tie the series, push it to Game 7. Let's say they get knocked out of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh.
Right.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
That's your reaction. I haven't even continued my thought. You know exactly where this is going.
Okay.
Daryl Sutter is a likely winner of the Jack Adams Award, the number one or top most successful, what have you, coach in the NHL. I would say he's the front runner for that award.
Absolutely.
They have a goaltender who is a Vezina Trophy finalist for best goalie in the NHL. He's unlikely to win. Shesterkin should win, but Markstrom is a finalist. You have 3 40-goal scorers, Elias Lindholm, Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, on one line that was one of the best lines, if not the most successful line during the regular season in the NHL. Okay. All that being said, what happens to Calgary if they cannot win a playoff series? They have not won one in, I think it's been 15 years. With the pressure on Canadian teams, are we talking wholesale changes? Are we seeing Johnny Gaudreau leave, who is in contract discussions? What do you think happens? Please tell me that this is, of course, just hypothetical, but give me your thoughts. I got to know.
Well, I can understand why you wouldn't want to bring up this conversation. And again, I'm going to get to Calgary here in a second, but they're having those same kind of conversations just next door here with the Toronto Maple Leafs as far as those players are concerned. As you said, between Lindholm, Gaudreau, they've all had career years with Tkachuk all at the same time, all about 40 goal scorers. You just don't have that on the same team. You're going into a Pacific Division that everybody talked about at the very beginning with the Vegas Golden Knights, where it was supposed to be dominated by them. Calgary's gone through this regular season relatively pretty clean, with the exception, maybe as you said, 8 to 10 games throughout the regular season, where it kind of looked like there was a little bit of struggle. In a vacuum, looking at this series, when you have the Calgary Flames, who again, I want to get the official numbers in front of me. I believe it was a plus 88. I had that plus 85 going into the capsules we did a couple weeks ago here in Colorcast. The Dallas Stars being a minus 8. This is a team, again, in Dallas that plays their defensive shell and able to find it. Rick Bowness and everybody else. I get it, Jamie Benn, Radek Faksa, Tyler Seguin. You've had some good veterans. Hell, I want to even make this point. With Alexander Radulov and Denis Gurianov, who I said before to you a couple nights ago are usually on the first and second line, they're not even dressed right now in this game. If Calgary does not find a way to win this game, there is one reprieve I can tell you here. They played their best game at American Airlines Center where they broke out. I know it was the penalty shot and all that stuff. Calgary looked like a completely different team, and I made this point to you a couple nights ago when we did this game. It seems like they're feeling all the pressure here at home in the Settle Dome, in the barn. This does not look like the same team that we've seen throughout the regular season. Wholesale changes, I know why you didn't want to ask that question. I don't know if I want to make all those changes, but at the same time, if you lose to Dallas, don't you have to? You got to make something. This is one of those teams that, again, Dallas is good. Everybody's in the playoffs for a reason. We're not going to argue that point. But for all the offensive firepower and defensive play that Calgary has, where they've checked every box, even goaltending, Jake Ottinger aside, he's been a revelation, no doubt about it. But you have to make changes if you don't win this one, right? That's a painful conversation to have. My apologies, Cooper. Jeez.
No, listen, John. No apologies necessary. I mean, you have these players who we've been mentioning that have playoff experience, that know what they're doing, highly skilled. The Eric Bransons of the world. Do you think that? I mean, I wouldn't imagine that he returns. If, as we said before, when Michael Stone, who is usually in the press box watching the game, not dressed because he's not a top six defenseman, when he's giving the most effort and he's the most noticeable on your team, yeah, you'd have to think that things change. The Dylan Dubés, the Andrew Mangiapanis, the secondary scoring, which has been absent for the Flames in this series, it's tough to see as a fan. But listen, as a broadcaster, there's always the knowledge that you're looking at some of the best and most skilled players in hockey, Gaudreau, Lindholm, Tkachuk, and they can break out at any moment. The problem is, Bonus has seemed to have found the formula to keep them from playing their game, and that is the classic hockey phrase: we just need to play our game. But it's used by these players because they believe it. And John, you made a great point. The mental edge has gone to Dallas, and I do believe that you're correct in your observation that playing in Calgary tonight with a chance to take a commanding 3-2 series lead, I think that there is some of that pressure creeping in to their thoughts and unsettling them, so to speak.
That's absolutely what we've seen, and it amazes me though, because all you talked about again is the secondary goal scoring, and I'm right there with you with Dylan Dubé and everybody else. Everybody has been able to dominate throughout the regular season. Look at Dallas on the other side; they have no secondary scoring. So how in the hell are they at a 2-2 series tie with a 1-0 lead going into the third against the Calgary Flames? Rick Bowness might be getting Coach of the Year thoughts, and he's not even in the conversation because the team has been so bad for the most part until they snuck in the last couple weeks of the season because they found out that Jake Ottinger is going to turn into this all-world Patrick Waugh clone that we've seen right now. And again, no disrespect to Jake Ottinger, but he's just 23 years of age. Is he really supposed to be the best goaltender in the series either? And I'm not saying anything bad about Jacob Markstrom because I think he's a 1A on any situation. Look, he led the NHL in shutouts, absolutely dominant. But when you're looking on that other side and you're seeing this goalie stand on his head, and Calgary has not played their best hockey throughout the series, especially when they've been at the Saddle Dome, it gives me pause. And I run out of situations when I think about the Calgary Flames. I had them going in winning this series in 6. Look, I gave Dallas a couple of games out of respect just because of all the other guys like Radulov and Gurianov who aren't even dressed in this game, and they have the lead. I am shocked at what I'm seeing. I do expect Calgary to come back out in the next couple nights, fight for their life, and give the same kind of offensive impression. Again, they're going to have to probably put another 45 to 50 shots on Ottinger. He's proven that at this point he's going to be able to make some saves. But if we do this again, when we do a home game and it's game 7 and you and I are on the call, I might break my TV if I don't see Calgary end up playing a better game here, because Dallas cannot have the chokehold that they've had right now with all those check mark boxes in every situation on offense, defense, and goaltending in Calgary's flavor. I would be really upset if I was in that locker room right now, and I would not be surprised if Daryl Sutter, again, I don't know how mild-mannered he is, Cooper, you can speak to that, if he doesn't lay into some of these guys and let them know the time is now.
Well, the time is right now, and they have to treat this third period as if it were period 3 Game 7 of this series. I just think that must be the mentality. I mean, Daryl Sutter is a proven winner. Of course, he took the Calgary Flames to the Stanley Cup Finals within a game of winning in 2004, and then as head coach of the Los Angeles Kings in both 2012 and 2014, brought home hockey's top prize. We are just a few minutes away here from resuming, getting back to action, and starting that third period. And John, to answer your question, Daryl Sutter, normally quite soft-spoken, even dour, you could say. He is pretty serious, man of few words. The players were asked in pregame interviews this morning about what kinds of things Daryl says, and if he needs to say anything to get them, quote-unquote, fired up.
Mm-hmm.
And their answer was essentially, we have leaders in the room, players that are able to make whatever statement is necessary, or pass on some of their personal passion or drive to get us all on the same page. Now is the time. I say this neutrally and very biased. Now is the time for Daryl Sutter to pull out all the stops. I don't think you can wait until the beginning of Game 6. I don't think you can wait until the first or second intermission of Game 6. It's got to happen now. The Flames, I think, need to answer here at home in order to reinstill belief that they are the best team in this series. On paper, on the ice, they are the best team and must play like it. Whatever strategies are necessary, which we talked about earlier. The tic-tac-toe passing is long gone, so okay, we're going to go low to high,
Right.
Shoot from the blue line, look for tips. Whatever is necessary must be done, and we'll see if they can do that here in the third period.
Cooper, I know this might be difficult to answer or say, but when I thought about TJ Brody and I thought about Mark Giordano, and you're talking about leaders in that locker room, yes, I know it was several years ago. Now they moved on. They're with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Those would be the guys I would think to look and lean on. Am I leaning on? Again, I know the offensive production. I'm not trying to say this is a stupid question, but Gaudreau, Lindholm, Kachuk, I know Gaudreau's been there for a while now, but relatively younger players on the other sides of things. This is the time, as you said, again, if Daryl Sutter wants to scream and get in these players' faces just to remind them of how important this is and not to let this opportunity slip away, this is the time. But I'm curious to know, who are those other leaders in the locker room that you're going to rely on as far as having a voice if Daryl Sutter's not going to do it?
No, you're absolutely correct. And it does make me think. I'm sure if the players were asked this, they would almost laugh off the question. But we're looking at two teams with two very different regular seasons. Flames win the Pacific Division. Dallas sneaks in as a wild card team. It sneaks in, of course, not the most apt term, but still. It wasn't a guarantee that they would be a playoff team this year. But there are two different teams in this respect. Jamie Benn, a stalwart, a proven, tested veteran.
Absolutely.
He's wearing the C
Yes.
for the Dallas Stars, right?
Yes.
And what are the Flames lacking? They are lacking a captain. And I don't mean that figuratively. They literally, because of Mark Giordano's departure, of course, being exposed in the expansion draft of the Seattle Kraken and selected by them, he became Seattle's first captain, and then was, as somebody who grew up in Seattle, a tad unceremoniously released at the deadline. It was the right thing to do from a hockey standpoint, but of course, he's now with Toronto and reunited with one of his defensive partners in Calgary, TJ Brody, which, John, you just mentioned. But ultimately, Calgary is without a captain. You have Chris Tanev wearing an assistant captain's A. This is his first year with the team. You have Michael Backlund, who's been with the Flames for many years and has known a good deal of success in the regular season and in the playoffs. Michael Backlund actually led the Flames onto the ice for their warm-up tonight. But he is a soft-spoken leader. He is not a rah-rah leader, so to speak. He's not to use a football term, a halftime speech sort of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Matthew Tkachuk, who many believe will be the next captain of the Calgary Flames. But Matthew Tkachuk is a very young player. We forget that. He feels like he's been around forever because he makes his presence felt. But that's my ultimate fundamental point. You have a team with a proven cornerstone foundational captain and a team which is known to great deal of success this year, but during these pressure moments when the spotlight's never been brighter and every fan is wearing red and everyone's watching you more closely than they have ever potentially, and the media, and you're in Canada, and you're on ColorCast. My goodness. Now is the time for leadership, John.
I'm glad that you and I are in lockstep about that, because I couldn't have said it any better. Look at Dallas, look at the LA Kings in the locker room as well. That stuff matters at this point in the year.
It does. We see the replay here on our ESPN feed. The youngster wearing number 21 for Dallas, our goal scorer, Jason Robertson, and we are back underway here at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome on ColorCast. First round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. There's Michael Backlund with a shot immediately. We're only 13 seconds into the game. Blake Coleman is tied up in the crease, and I think sitting on the puck, having made the save, is Jake Andre. Let's get another look at that one, John. Looks like just a dump and chase. It comes right back out for a shot.
Exactly what you want to see. Coleman got in front of the net. Backlund was right in the slot with a slapper there. What a stop by Ottinger, but that's what we wanted out of the locker room, with some pressure there from Calgary. Got to win this face-off, though.
They absolutely do, and for our listeners, Calgary's had some difficulty with face-offs in this series. Michael Backlund will take it here against Tyler Seguin, wearing number 91 for Dallas, a longtime star. And the Stars are able to flutter this one back out. Here is Seguin. It's a 3-on-2 for Dallas. That one's off the shoulder of Jacob Markstrom. Nice save right there. So a pair of saves, one on each side, to open this third period of play. Now the Flames with the puck. Back then goes left to right, cross ice to Rasmus Andersson. He will dump in, and the Flames will go for a change. 40 seconds gone here in the third. Now the puck is down to Markstrom's left. It's picked up by Chris Tanev. He leaves for Oliver Shillington. And now Johnny Gaudreau with the puck on his stick and immediately gives it away. A good opportunity right there for Dallas. Bad pass by Gaudreau. Pretty rare to see that from number 13. Now the Flames are looking to chase down behind their own net. It comes to the near boards here. Somebody's lost a stick, and the puck slides back to center ice. This one chipped back into the Calgary zone. Now the Flames actually lead on the shot clock, John, 17-16. This one's slapped in and right on. Ottinger has to make a save. That shot came from the face-off dot at center ice. And Eric Goodbranson with a crisp pass ahead, and the puck is chipped in and picked up by the Stars' Miro Heiskanen. That one is up to the benches area, and Goodbranson one more time has possession for Calgary. Now it's Nikita Zadorov, former Colorado Avalanche. Whips this one around, and on the forecheck is Dylan Dubé. The puck looks to have been deflected up into the netting. So a stoppage of play there. John, am I seeing that correctly? Did the puck touch the netting there?
It sure did. We're looking at the 18-17 mark of the third period right now. Calgary has checked that first box as far as getting some immediate pressure, getting some shots on Ottinger, but they got to maintain it with another offensive zone draw here.
Yes, they do. And on the ice for the Stars to take this face-off, Radek Faksa. And he is actually whistled out of the face-off circle. He got the stick play down on the ice too quickly, didn't wait for the puck drop. So in to take it now, Kiviranta. And he will duel against Kalle Järnkrok, the Swedish center for Calgary. And it's won by Järnkrok. He'll glove it down to himself, tries to get this one toward the net. But the puck bounces off of some legs, and it's now out and all the way down the ice toward Markstrom's trapezoid. And Nikita Zadorov now loses the puck in the face-off circle, but luckily it will be picked up by Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk backhands to Dylan Dubé. Dylan Dubé circles in the near corner. He's pinned there by John Klingberg, who's been everywhere for Dallas on defense in this series. 17:45 to go here in regulation, 1-0 Dallas. Now Järnkrok's pass to Tanev is tipped and just out of the offensive zone, so the Flames retreat and make a line change. Oliver Shillington, left shot defenseman for Calgary, snaps that one into the offensive zone. Ottinger settles there. Nice forecheck, though, from Michael Backlund. Now Shillington at the half boards will knock this one back around looking for Mangiapane. Mangiapane and Tanev try to fight for possession there, but here comes a 2-on-2 for Dallas. And dragging down, I think that was Rupe Hintz, was Tanev. No penalty called there. That was a bit of a sketchy play. And there's a shot and a save. It's underneath Markstrom and squirts out to the far corner. Blake Coleman now waving at the puck. It stays in. Bad play right there, and a blocker save has to be made. Hakanpää took a shot. He got that one on net. So shots should be even here, 19-19, Dallas and Calgary. Now Noah Hannafin tries to jump and chase himself, but going back for the puck and getting possession is Hakanpää. Offensive zone time tonight. Hey, this is a great stat. Credit to ESPN for popping this one up on the screen. 10 minutes and 20 seconds for Calgary and about 8.5 minutes for Dallas. So Calgary with a significant advantage in the offensive zone time category, but they have nothing to show for it so far. No goals. They've had some golden opportunities. And here's Johnny Gaudreau's line with Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm tries to slap this one toward Ottinger, but it is deflected away. And the Flames are actually able to hold it in here. Noah Hannafin gets the puck at the left point, and this one bounces behind the net, and it's sent along by Miro Heiskanen. Chipped along there by Jason Robertson. And with 15:55 to play here in the third period, the Flames will start from behind their own net. The breakout quarterback is Nikita Zadorov. He skates all the way from his goal to the Stars' blue line. And with the puck is Tkachuk. Here's a shot from Yarncroke. This one looks to have been deflected and hits the glass. And there's a shot from the point. And Ottinger, as he has been all game and all series long, he is right on it, and he locks it down. Nice save right there with about 4.5 minutes elapsed here in the third period.
I'm shaking my head here, Cooper, as far as what I'm seeing right now. Again, Dallas, as we said, Calgary had a good open in this third period, but it's been a little bit more Dallas now. Calgary's going to have to try to find this here. Again, offensive zone faceoffs, I mentioned this a few times already. They're important, but they were not able to win this one, and Dallas has puck possession.
Also to Patrick and Lily, you may notice John is a couple seconds ahead of me on the video feed tonight. So credit to John. Thanks for helping me out right there as Dallas breaks into their offensive zone. That puck is left in the faceoff circle and picked up. Nice check by Trevor Lewis. And going down on the play is Radek Faksa, and the puck squirts back out to the center faceoff circle. It bounces off of the cage, and Nikita Zadorov has some trouble handling it. So it's in the near corner now. It's Faksa and Trevor Lewis battling. And it's picked up on the forehand, but immediately given away by Zadorov. There's a huge hit. Then Faksa, no, excuse me, John, maybe you can help me out. I'm not sure. I didn't get a number on that one. It may have been Michael Rothel, who was just slammed against the boards by Zadorov. But Dallas maintains possession. They've got to be evening those offensive zone time numbers right now as we speak. It's 21-18, Calgary in the lead by 3 on the shot clock. But Dallas still holds the advantage where it matters most. It's 1-0 Dallas. 14 minutes and 30 seconds to go here as the puck is pushed along by Milan Lucic. And now Michael Backlund looks for a pass. The centering attempt was dialed in for Rasmus Andersson, but hit someone along the way. And now Andersson has the puck. He'll wrist one on Ottinger. He's a little trouble. It's bouncing in front of the blue paint. And the Flames maintain possession but can't keep it in the O-zone. So Johnny Gaudreau will have to take it from neutral ice. Trying to do it himself now. Skates into the faceoff circle to the left of Ottinger. Leaves it for Andersson. There's a slap shot. I don't think it made it all the way through. It bounces back out to the far half boards. And with 14 minutes exactly to play, that puck bounces up and into Matthew Tkachuk, who is on the bench. So play is whistled dead. And John, just tell me what you're seeing here as we get a nice shot of the Calgary fans outside of the Saddle Dome.
The chance
in Cowtown, and this has been an exciting third period, but I think the Flames may be disappointed that they didn't get one about 10 seconds into the period. That's been one of their best chances of the night.
Absolutely, and the last shot that was taken from the blue line, Miro Heiskanen might have got a piece of that out of the air before it even hit Jake Ottinger. So we got about 13:55 left to go in the contest. We need to see that Calgary push probably within the next 5 minutes at least. I'd like to get to those check mark boxes toward the part where the team is actually trailing here. You want to see some pressure within the first 5 minutes. But right now, just let Calgary continue to do what they do. Still got plenty of time here, but get traffic on Ottinger, get some shots. Let's go.
So the Flames are giving it a go here as Oliver Shillington picks up the puck behind his own net. 13 minutes, 35 seconds to go here in the third. And the puck is chipped forward. No icing here. It'll be picked up by Heiskanen. Flames can keep it in. Shots by period for Calgary, 7 in the first, 9 in the second. That's equal to Dallas. Now we've got 2 shots in this period for Dallas, 7 for the Flames. So they know what they need to do And as we've said, John, they just have to do it. Now, driving the net there is Blake Coleman. That one deflects off of the stick, heading to the net off of Michael Backlund's stick blade. We have a tie hockey game. Michael Backlund, second line center for Calgary, draws it even for the boys in red.
Great call there, Cooper. I wanted to make sure I was making my hand gestures and not yelling at the TV. What a draw there for Calgary to get deep inside the net. Backlund found it between the blue paint, and Calgary has tied this one back up at 1. They needed this so badly here to try to turn some momentum. What a great hole there by Mangiapane, deflected, and the blue paint by Backlund. We got a brand new hockey game here, knotted at 1 with 13:11 left.
Michael Backlund, who has scored several big goals for his squad over the years in the playoffs, gets a beautiful feed right through the wickets. He goes, that was Mangiapane who goes through Nemesnikov's legs. Michael Backlund with his stick on the ice makes it happen just about 7 minutes into this third period. Couldn't have come at a better time, and John, it's so nice to see it come from a line other than the first line. So it's not Gaudreau, it's not Lindholm, it's not Tkachuk. It's Stanley Cup winner Blake Coleman starting that play, and a youngster, Andrew Mangiapane, who sends it to the veteran, who I described as soft-spoken. Well, he just spoke with his play on the ice with the game-tying goal.
And by the way, real quickly, did you just see that stat that went across on ESPN? It was the first goal at home for Calgary since Game 1 in 161 minutes of ice time.
Unbelievable. Well, it couldn't have come at a better time, so I will take it, and I'm sure everyone in the building, including Daryl Sutter, will take it as well. Now, one of the Dallas Stars has lost their helmets, and Patrick and Lily, I think we're down to Lily, so Lily, thanks for hanging on. If you lose your helmet on the ice during play during an NHL game, you must return to the bench. That used to not be the case. Of course, everyone in the NHL must wear a helmet, which also was not the case. I think, boy, John, this is testing my facts and my history here. As Rasmus Andersson whines and fires with the shot, doesn't make it through. Johnny Gaudreau with a pass over to Elias Lindholm. Now Tyler Toffoli is behind the net. Jake Ottinger sees the puck to his right. In the far corner, the near corner is Toffoli, but now it's picked up by Dallas. They have a partial 3-on-2. Defending is Noah Hannafin. Jamie Benn sends over. There's a shot. And that one's into the paint area. Can't see where the puck is. It's bouncing out to the right of Jacob Markstrom, and now Tyler Toffoli skated forward. He looks like he's out of gas, though. Not known to be the fastest skater, and he will gingerly head back to the bench here and get a change. Now Radek Faksa rubs Chris Tanev off of the puck, and Oliver Shillington will control and send it right back to Tanev. Stretch pass there goes to Tkachuk. Tkachuk tries to break. Could be a penalty here, as he was held, but I don't see a hand up, and I don't hear any whistles. So some protesting from the fans here in Calgary. Tkachuk almost broke into Ottinger's crease and slot area alone. But a defensive play there by Joel Hanley. And now here comes Calle Yarncroke. He'll shoot one through, and that one's saved. Tkachuk tries to go through the legs. Almost everyone in the arena on their feet. Tkachuk with that signature through the leg attempt. And a nice stop by Ottinger. 27 shots now for Calgary, 18 for Dallas. John, is the tide turning for the Flames?
It looks like it is right now. There's all kinds of pressure in the Go Flames Go chant right now in the Saddle Dome. Everybody's buzzing.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it. And Lily, as I was saying, right, the rules changed many, many years ago. About 20 years ago, it became mandatory. I think maybe 25 years ago, that every hockey player has to wear a helmet while on the ice. Visors are still optional. And if you lose your helmet during the course of play, you must return to the bench. So with 10 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in the third period, speaking of the bench, the puck has gone into the Flames bench, and we will take a commercial break as we get a beautiful replay of Andrew Mangiapane's feed to Michael Backlund, who scores off of his stick blade, a perfect deflection, and this game is tied 1-1. John, my goodness. The Flames came out on a mission to start this third period.
They must have heard some of the stuff that we were talking about during the intermission, because the intensity is certainly ratcheted up. And again, I think he made it a perfect point in the sense of you got to play for your season right now. Look, don't talk about the 2-2 series tie. You're at home. Take this game at home and go into Dallas with a chance to actually finish it off. Look, you can say what you want about getting the extra revenue from the fans and stuff into Game 7. Nobody cares about the amounts of beers they drink and what they consume. Finish this out right now and then get a chance to play farther throughout in this series. Come out with intensity. Take this game. Prove that you're a better team against Dallas. You've shown it here in Game 5. You're starting to show it a little bit here in Game 6. Because, again, I talked about this. If you want the defensive intensity and shell to change there for the Dallas Stars, you got to be able to take them out of it. Otherwise, Rick Bowness and the rest of the company are going to play that same game plan. And Calgary's finally starting to make some inroads here as they've tied the game with Michael Backlund. And I will say this one other point here aside, when we're talking about rule changes, if you're looking at the Hockey Hall of Fame and things like that, remember goalies didn't have to wear helmets. Again, I never got to saw Terry Sawchuk play for the Red Wings, but if you see the amount of scars on that man's face during the original 6 rivalry, imagine taking a puck to the face numerous times and then being a Hall of Famer. Can't imagine how tough that would be being a goalie not having helmets back in the day.
Oh no, I cannot. I would never want to even try to imagine that. I mean, in the first period, we had a player who has the full complement of facial protection, at least in the NHL. Of course, every level prior to the pros requires a face cage as well. But here in the NHL, we had Johnny Gaudreau, who had a puck bounce up into his ear and kind of the cheek area. He had to head to the locker room. So, yeah, playing goalie with no helmet. Sometimes rule changes are for the best, and that most certainly was necessary. And plus, we got all the great goalie mask art now. So,
Sure.
I mean, hey, I'm partial to Markstrom, but we'll see what happens here in the game. And I want to see more of Markstrom. The Flames need to keep winning in order for us to keep watching Flames games. So right now, with just about 5-4, we have 10 minutes exactly remaining in this third period. Chris Tanev for the Flames picks up, and he passes off to his defensive partner, Oliver Shellington, but that puck is slid back down toward Markstrom. So Tanev will be on the puck once again, and the right shot defenseman slings this one over to Tkachuk. Now Tkachuk with a nice touch pass. There's a snapshot from Calle Jarnkrok. Dubé was crashing the net. He actually made some light contact with Ottinger. Ottinger goes down sprawling. And Jamie Benn takes exception to that. Dylan Dubé, all of 5'8", goes up against several stars, and the Flames created another good scoring chance right there, John.
That was a gorgeous give and go from the Calgary Flames from Tkachuk and Dubé, and you can see exactly what Calgary can do when they have time and space to be able to make something happen.
Well, I don't know if somebody, Milan Lucic, Daryl Sutter, who could it have been? Somebody said something to Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, he is such a skilled player for this team. He does it all. He's really a hybrid, the likes of which we don't see as much anymore in hockey. You could argue he's the closest facsimile to Jerome McGinley, since Jerome McGinley was a Flame, that kind of power forward who had speed, skill, not afraid to fight, not afraid to check and get to the dirty areas. Somebody said something to him because he has been very noticeable in this third period as the Flames win the faceoff next to Ottinger, but it sneaks out through the neutral zone and back to the Calgary end of the ice. Blake Coleman had trouble handling the puck right there, but the Flames are able to regain possession. Now Michael Backlund with a backhand pass on the forehand is Mangiapane, shoots and scores! Andrew Mangiapane, who set up Backlund earlier, does it himself. And with 9:22 to go in Game 6, it's 2-1 Flames.
We've been talking about the offensive production from the secondary and tertiary lines, and we get that here. What a play there from Backlund. Mangiapane walks right in, getting across the blue line. What a snipe. Bar down, bottom right, beats Ottinger clean. 2-1 Flames have the lead.
My goodness, I hardly know what to say other than Andrew Mangiapane and his line mate Michael Backlund have come out of nowhere and just lit this game on fire, no pun intended. You can see the excitement on Mangiapane's face. He's breathing hard on the bench. The effort, the skill, it's there for Calgary, and they take a huge 2-1 advantage in this game. Plenty of time left for both squads here as Markstrom plays the puck. And John, I once again tip my cap to you. How you don't give away the fact that goals are being scored is just a mystery to me. Thank you so much for
no problem,
me stick
man.
with those play-by-play calls, my friend. This has been a barn burner for sure. So inside 9 minutes now, 29 shots for Calgary, 18 for Dallas. You can hear it in my voice. Those goal calls, I'm going to have to apologize to my neighbors later. It's 2-1 Calgary here, thanks to Michael Backlund with his 9th goal of his playoff career, and Andrew Mangiapane, who puts one in to give Calgary the lead. 8.5 to go here. Now this puck given away. It's picked up on a stretch pass by Dubé. Comes in on the left wing. Can't get a full shot off. And Ottinger in good position there sticks the puck to his left, and Dallas will take over. It's held there by John Klingberg, and he dumps that one into the corner to the right of Markstrom. A nice pass here. You're seeing some really crisp passing from Calgary as they momentarily give the puck away. But back, Yarncroke. My gosh, I'm getting flustered. I'm so excited. My Calgary Flames fandom may have been reignited here as we see a big check. Blake Coleman body against the end boards, and now chasing down for an icing. Zadorov will touch up, and the face-off will come to Ottinger's end in a moment. My gosh, I'm going to have a sip of water here. John, help me out. What are you seeing? Dylan Dubé came streaking in on the left wing, and he almost made it 3-1.
That was a great get back there by Harley. I know Ottinger came over to make the save. If he didn't get back there, Dylan Dubé could have made this a 3-1 game for Calgary. Could have been 3 unanswered goals, and the barn door would have been blown off at the Saddle Dome.
John, if you could, I'm having a little issue with my video feed here. I know Michael Backlund's in for the face-off. If you could take play-by-play for just a moment here.
Sure, no problem.
To close the feed and reopen it.
Okay, no problem. So we got about 7:46 left to go in the third here. Secondary scoring. It's the first time in this series that we've had there right now. Andrew Mangiapane, 2 for Michael Backlund, each with 1 in this period. So you've been looking for that. We've been answering it right now. As you get shed for Tyler Toffoli, get a look in there, waiting on the right face-off dot. Coleman also in there as well with Lindholm. Lindholm going to be taking it against Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn gets the face-off clean, and it goes back down through Klingberg. Intercepted there momentarily by Calgary, but now finds Tyler Seguin. Calgary intercepts this in their own end now as they're trying to chip and chase there with Lindholm. Lindholm being fought off there by Harley. Klingberg also going in there with Hakanpää, with Benn as well. Gaudreau trying to find his way in the midst of the scrum. See if he gets there. Some active stick checks there for Gaudreau as he tries to move this around one more time. Pick up by Dallas, and here they go with Tyler Seguin now. He's being held off there nicely by Noah Hannafin. Rasmus Anderson also in there as well. And it goes away from the slot and goes back down the ice where Calgary can get some wholesale line changes with 7 minutes left to go in the third. It's left to right here for the Dallas Stars and right to left for the Calgary Flames, who have just taken a 2-1 lead right now, looking to go up 3-2 in this quarterfinal West round. This is a big-time game here for Calgary to try to turn the momentum. Pavelski gets it cleared in to get bounced off Hannafin's skate. One more time, picked up by Joe Pa, takes a hard fall there, and I think we might have a penalty called against the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, John, I'm back here. I see that the puck is down in the near corner, and play is whistled dead with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to play here in the third. As you mentioned, of course, it's 2-1 Flames now after some excellent play from the home team. And are we going to get a penalty here? I know you're a couple seconds ahead of me still.
I'm still looking. I saw the hand in the air, so I have yet to see on the ESPN scorecard. So we'll get that officially when we come back in from break.
Yep, heading to a commercial break here. It's 2-1 Flames. What a great shot of the sea of red rising, as the Flames broadcast men like to say so frequently. And we're going to take a quick break here. And John, where did this come from? And I'm truly asking, as just a hockey fan, I did not expect to see this type of turnaround this quickly from Calgary. Now, and look, I know it took them some time to actually get the puck behind Ottinger, but they came out and had a glorious scoring chance within the first 10 seconds of the third period.
Yeah, from everything that we talked about earlier in our intermission, they've had to be talking about the same things in the locker room with the Calgary Flames. I don't know who it was, like you said, that went ahead and had that voice to be able to make that change. But they're playing like their life's on the line right now. And it's good to see because, again, we've talked about it many times. And I'm not throwing shade at the Dallas Stars, but the Calgary Flames have every checkbox as far as being able to dictate pace of play. And we're finally seeing it now in the third period. And it is good to see, not just for Calgary Flames fans, But you don't want to have a situation when you're just that talented and then playing to the level of your competition. Look, Dallas and Rick Bowness has had a great game plan, no doubt about it. But Calgary needs to be able to take momentum in this series. And Andrew Burnett's squad in the same time, where now they got it with the Florida Panthers. They dictated some action there against the Capitals. The Flames are finally doing so right now against the Stars.
They certainly are. And for our loyal listener, Lily, let's do a quick scoring recap here. So no goals in the first period, which of course is just perfect for this series. No goals. A lot of great goalie play. But in the second period, Jason Robertson of the Stars makes it 1-0 at 13:21. Assist from Ben and Lindell. And then here in the third period, Michael Backlund ties the game, his second of the postseason. Assist to Mangiapane and Coleman. And then we'll hear Mangiapane's name again. He has got the Flames in the lead here. At 10:38, he scores assists from Backlund and Zadorov. So Dallas is on the power play. I'm not exactly sure who is in the box here, but it looks like Oliver Shillington, the defenseman for Calgary, for tripping Joe Pavelski. So 1 minute and 40 seconds to go here in the Dallas power play. This one is chipped in, and Chris Tanev blows a tire there, but he does a good job to keep the puck pinned in the far corner. And now John Klingberg has it. So the far half court, so now back into the far corner. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go here. Nice stick by Trevor Lewis. And now skating forward, but the puck is, I believe, Blake Coleman. He tries to drive the net, and he actually gets it on the net. And he is bodied down by Klingberg. Klingberg spins into the ice. Coleman did it all himself. He got the puck all the way from his own blue line and drives the crease and actually creates his own scoring chance. That's impressive stuff, John.
Yes, it has been. They've certainly had the better pace of play, and even on a penalty kill, being able to have that move there from Coleman, that's absolutely exceptional.
Boy, you want to talk about the lid being blown off the Saddle Dome. If they were to have scored a shorthanded goal right there, my goodness, the decibel meter, they'd just be shattered. So we see Coleman did a great job there to go from right to left, coming off of the right wing and push the puck on Ottinger. 5 minutes and 45 seconds now remaining in regulation. 31-19 are the shots in favor of the Flames. The puck is sent around, was touched by Markstrom, but he couldn't control. And now it slides to the half boards on the near side, but all the way out past the right point and back to neutral ice, where it's picked up by Kelly Yarncroke. And the right shot, third line center for Calgary, sends this one back in. And Ottinger will leave for Rope. I was about to say Rope Hintz, and I meant Ryan Suter. So Ryan Suter knocks this one back in. The official has to dance out of the way. And a nice check there. Chris Tanev and Elias Lindholm are in the corner fighting with Miro Heiskanen. And here comes Michael Backlund with a nice chip off the boards. He'll chase down his own clear. 24 seconds remaining in the man advantage on a loose puck. Michael Backlund chases it down. And he almost had a scoring opportunity now on the forecheck is Trevor Lewis. He's smacked against the glass. No damage there. He could have been spitting chiclets as the blog title goes. But he's all right. And 7 seconds are remaining here in the Dallas power play. They have possession, and it's held at the blue line. 2-1. The power play has expired. So both teams at full strength. But John Klingberg has possession as he drives the crease. Markstrom watches the puck slide behind the net and to his right. Now Oliver Shillington, who's out of the box, tries to push the puck down the ice, but he will leave along with the rest of his teammates for a change. Now there's a pass all the way up to Pavelski. He leaves the puck at the half boards, picked up there by Calgary. There's a scrum. Looking for the puck is Robertson. No one has clear possession yet. Now back to Klingberg at the right point. Flames do a nice job there with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the third. They knock that one all the way back to the Dallas zone. Dallas pushes it a few feet back toward the center red line. The Flames will dump in and make yet another change as we are inside. 4 minutes to play. Lily, we got a good one tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. John and I are having fun. I'm glad you're learning a little bit. Hope you're having some fun, too, as Johnny Gaudreau turns on the afterburners and chooses to spin it back to neutral ice and then backhands one to Tyler Toffoli. Now Toffoli looks for Gaudreau. Gaudreau on the right wing. Circles back again. Slap shot from Toffoli. Keeps it on the ice, and that one slides wide. No save necessary by Ottinger. There's Lindholm with the puck momentarily, but he can't hang on to it. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to play here in regulation. 2-1 Calgary. And John, once again, this is a bad time for me to have a hiccup with the video feed. If you can take over the play-by-play just for a moment, I'd appreciate it.
No problem here. So we got about 3 minutes left to go in the third period. It gets cleared in there by Dallas. We can momentarily see maybe Jake Ottinger escape the goal crease for the extra man. as Dallas is down 2-1. It's now 31-19 on the shot board in favor of Calgary. All things have been turned on its head in the third period. Here comes Tyler Seguin, but the pass was too hard there from Ben. And now they're at the red line one more time with John Klingberg. Good active work there from Backlund to try to nudge that one away as Klingberg has to get a piece of his helmet and start this one more time. Pass invertedly goes bounced off the red line back to where Markstrom will get this. Hannafin now with Rasmus Andersson trying to get this out. And now it's going to be a chase for the puck there as Matthew Tkachuk is going to instead back off and take their time. You want to get your wholesale line changes and get settled. Someone blows a tire there with Tanev as he falls down, but he was able to go all the way over and stop it. It's loose out front for Pavelski. Big save by Markstrom. And now it goes back to Hakanpää as they keep this on the blue line. Nemestikov also waiting. Nice steal there by Kelly Arncroft. And Calgary can try to catch their breath as they get this one down the ice. And they do. Almost a chance there for Jopa, but I think Calgary has just iced it with 1:59 left to go in the third.
My gosh, great call there, John. Thank you so much.
No
And
problem.
boy, am I glad to hear that you're able to make a save call for Jacob Markstrom. I was a little worried. Joe Pavelski, so successful around the net. He's had so much goal scoring in this league, and my goodness, no better time than for Markstrom to make a big save than right then. And again, apologies. I'm still fighting the video a little bit here, but I'll be back momentarily, I hope.
No, I can pick up whatever else, man. I appreciate you letting me do this right now. So Jake Ottinger has vacated the goal crease. Opportunity right now for Calgary to score. But again, you don't want to put this puck the length of the ice to ice it because you cannot make a change. So don't get too overzealous here. Just win the faceoff and keep some puck possession. I'm sure that's what Daryl Sutter is speaking to his team. You don't want to get too crazy with the empty yawning cage there. Puck is loose one more time in the draw. So we're going to do this one more time in the defensive end of the Flames. They're showing face-off probability heavily in favor of Yarncroc over Seguin, and that surprises me because I thought Yarncroc was more of a winger than a centerman. Seguin, one more time. He wins this one clean. Klingberg faked the slap shot. It bounces off the lively inboards and spins around as the Flames can get this one down the ice. Again, the goal cage is empty. We got about 1:40 left to go in the contest. Dallas needs a goal to be able to even this game. Calgary looking to take a 3-2 series lead. Rasmus Andersson watching over as Markstrom plays this one down to Hannafin and gloved down there by Jason Robertson, the 23-year-old. He banks this one off the kick plate. It goes in between Seguin and Pavelski. And now Seguin with a wrist shot that goes high and wide over an alert Markstrom. It's cleared down the ice, picked back up by Klingberg. And Klingberg's going to try to reset this thing in the neutral zone. They get across the red line, does Dallas. Markstrom comes out of his goal crease to play this one, but it bounces off Tyler Seguin. And Dallas has possession now. Calgary trying to get out of this one. They're in the left faceoff circle. They can't get this out of their zone. Now Johnny Gaudreau with a chance to end it. He just shot it wide. Picked it back up. Scores! The Flames! They get a 4-2 game. My goodness. I might have got the goal call wrong. It's 3-1. Sorry. 3-1.
John, I cannot tell you how happy you just made me. I had the video feedback on, and you were a couple seconds ahead of me. And before that near icing by Johnny Gaudreau, I couldn't believe it because streaking out from the right side of the camera frame was Trevor Lewis, who's got a ton of NHL playoff experience, and he keeps his feet moving, and he makes it 3-1 and effectively ends this game. Calgary is going to take a 3-2 series lead over Dallas. Unbelievable and excellent call.
The elation for Johnny Gaudreau after that goal, that's got to feel good for him. Let's see what happens in the final minute here.
So I am back, and I'm a couple seconds behind you. I know that. So on my clock, I have 50 seconds remaining here as the puck is loose in the faceoff circle at neutral ice. So Trevor Lewis with his 13th career playoff goal. Markstrom has this puck trickle into his crease, and he guides it off to the left. 38 seconds remaining now. The Flames are able to get it out of their own zone, and it's slapped forward by Blake Coleman. This should kill at least another 10 or 15 seconds. Ottinger is in net for Dallas. So that one's sent up on a stretch pass to Nemestikov, but Chris Tanev will take it in the near corner. And with 20 seconds remaining, the Flames clear it out of their zone one more time. John, it's going to happen. The Flames are going to get the win here. The fans in the Saddle Dome are on their feet, towels waving, 10 seconds on the clock. It's in the books here at 7-6, just a few seconds to go. Lily, you tuned into a good one. You got 2 play-by-play broadcasters for the price of 1, and the clock hits 0. 3-1 Calgary is your final, and the celebration begins for the Flames fans. They are 1 win away from moving on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Boy, John, this has been a fun one to call. Thank you for saving my you-know-what during some video issues. And I am so happy that we got this result tonight. My goodness, what are your final thoughts, my friend?
Wow, was it really the first playoff win in the Saddle Dome since behind from 2015 against the Ducks? This is just a third period turnaround of humongous proportions. There really isn't any way to say it. Look, we've talked about it within the first couple intermissions. Is Calgary going to be able to show that pace of play, that grit, that pizzazz, the want to close out a series, pretty much where they can go ahead and, if worse happens, have a game 7 at home? You don't want to think that way, but you have to go and play this game like your life depends on it. What a game we saw. What a comeback there from the Flames. And that is more along the lines of what we've been looking for Calgary to provide. And what an entertaining game that was.
My goodness, I hardly know what to say. I mean, listen, we know each other now. Lily, hey, you're in the family. You're officially in.
Absolutely.
You're in the hockey playoffs. We're going to be doing this as often as possible. Listen, John is on fire. He'll be covering tons of games. As you can hear, he's got the color, he's got the play-by-play. I mean, look, I'm just a one-trick pony over here. But all I can say is, after some low scoring and, I don't know, there was no bad hockey in this series, but early on, I think both teams were trying to establish their physical presence, and it made both of them get away from what they do best. Now, listen, John, as you pointed out, Dallas is a more defensively oriented team. That's what they rely on to win. That's what they relied on almost the entire game. For about 2.5 periods, they relied on that successfully until Calgary finally broke through. But for Calgary to be so focused on physicality early on, I think it got them away from what they do best. And we talked about that tonight. That's my takeaway. And again, we'll never know. We're never going to be the fly on the wall in that locker room at the Saddle Dome to know who said what to whom to make things flip on their heads. But Calgary did. When they had to do it, they flipped it on their heads. And they came away with a huge 3-1 win. One of those an empty netter. So still, relatively low event, as the media will say. But just give me your thoughts. I know you just gave us your final thoughts, but my gosh, what can we expect in Game 6 and hopefully for me, not a Game 7, but what are you expecting to see when they're back in American Airlines Arena?
Dallas on the other end, again, you know this just like anyone else would when you're looking at the standings. Their life's going to be on the line. But I certainly feel like, and I will say this was a huge win today for Calgary and the Saddle Dome. Calgary has played better throughout the series when they've been in Dallas, whether it's just the pressure not on them and all that, whether they were comfortable with their game. We could talk about a multitude of situations. I expect Calgary to also play just like they're chickens with their head cut off as far as just moving the puck all the way around, getting their open shots, having attention to defensive detail, doing everything, not playing tight. They play loose on the road. And I expect them, even though Dallas is going to have their best effort here to try to close this out, Calgary has a big-time opportunity to finish this one off right now. Let me make sure I get the date right now because it's 12:20 on my side. So this will be a Friday night in American Airlines Center here. I would expect Calgary to try to take this one. I think they have a good chance to do it.
I certainly hope you're right. And Lily, so the winner of this series between Calgary and Dallas, whomever that may be, right now, of course, the Flames with that 3-2 advantage in their first round match against Dallas. The winner between those two teams will take on either Los Angeles, the Kings, or the Edmonton Oilers. So the LA Kings have a 3-2 lead in that series. Very selfishly, I am based in Los Angeles, so even though it's not Staples Center anymore, I might have the opportunity to head live to Crypto.com Arena to see some action. And John, why don't you? I'm going to let you do your own little shout out here. I know you're covering at least one game tomorrow. So what's next for you?
So I'm going to be covering, if you get a chance to go, I'm very jealous, but I'm going to be covering Oilers Kings here on Colorcast to see who takes the series in there and who's going to play next for the chance to play Calgary. If assuming Calgary finishes off the series with Dallas, and then maybe this weekend do a little bit of basketball if no one else is covering on Colorcast. But you and I are going to go all the way through in the Stanley Cup Finals to as much as we can because I enjoy doing these games here with you, and it's always a pleasure. And again, I appreciate the opportunity letting you have me join on here with you.
Hey, 100%. I mean, it's always a joy, and we're going to definitely make this a regular thing. Lily, once again, even into our now, what is this, our post-game show. Thank you so much for hanging tight with us, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed having you. And, hey, go Brew Crew. I'll give you the shout-out. I'm a Mariners fan, and they're having a rough one. So I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with Milwaukee. And John and I will be back doing this again very soon. So hopefully we'll have you along. And once again, your final score, the happy totals. Flames 3, Stars 1. John, my pal, my buddy, my goodness, what a night. I can't wait to do this again. Thanks to both you guys. And oh my gosh, Lily, that is an incredible compliment. That means a lot. One of the most fun casts I've listened to in a while. Best hockey cast I've ever listened to. All the credit. John Ott has been doing this for years. I'm just riding his coattails. 3-1, your final. I almost don't want to sign it off because I'm so happy right now. But all the best to both you guys. John, any final word?
No, I appreciate all the kind words from the both of you and Lily and Cooper. I'll say this: I need a baseball team because my Tigers are toilet water right now. So I'll be jumping any bandwagon that I can for the time being.
Well, listen, we're both Brewers fans from here on out because Lily hung with us for the whole thing. So thanks, you guys. I'm gonna sign it off, and hopefully we'll all be back together soon. This was great.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.
All right, good night, guys.
It hurts. It definitely hurts, but we ain't got time to feel it. We're going to the next one. It's really simple. If you're not ready to come play the next game, just don't step on the court. It gets ridiculous. Obviously, it's great to game with baseball at home. Do good over our sus, but jump. Do research on the comeback. Big fourth quarter in Milwaukee the other day for Boston. And this one, the Celtics into the fourth, leading by 9 before they were outscored by a dozen, which is the largest playoff lead ever in the fourth quarter they've ever let them win in Boston. Big part of that, Bucks won the fourth quarter. They were 6-6 from 3, which tied the best ever in the fourth quarter by any team in the past century of the playoffs. Spurs also did it against the Heat in the finals of 2014. Game on the line, Drew Holiday delivered in such a big way. You saw the clutch 3, but then not 1, but 2 massive defensive plays. Became the first.
That was fun, dude. Holy shit, was that fun. Let's close this out.